braver than she was, huh?
Oh
She's
yeah,
more
she's
confident.
yeah. Oh yeah, she's way more confident than she used to be. Oh, granted, if she sees people for the first time, like if she's
Of
like
course. She's still a small person.
she saw Eric for the first time on my mother's birthday for the first time in almost 2 years or 2 years, whatever it's been,
Mm.
and she hid from him for like a solid 20. Even though she's talked to Uncle Poopy on the phone a bunch of times, hid for like a solid 20 minutes. But it was pretty funny. But she's like, "I remember, but thank you for reminding me."
I
Yeah,
know
that
that
was
was
great.
cute.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
We had our first parent teacher conference last night, and afterwards I had to call my mother. You know the mother's curse. When you grow up, I hope you have one day have a child just like you. I was so horrible in elementary school after my brother was bad. I was so horrible. My my kindergarten teacher quit. Not exaggerating. He quit. His name was Mr. Patrick. I don't know his first name. His name was Mr. Patrick, and he was in his mid-30s, and he quit. He was done. He sought another profession afterwards. In
Oh
first
my
grade,
God.
I got in tons of trouble. Even got suspended and whatnot for jumping from desk to desk like I was rock hopping. In second grade, I eventually got kept back for bad grades, throwing a chair at my teacher. I missed. Fist fights, swearing, so on and so forth. And then finally, in my second year of second grade, I was so hopped up on Ritalin, and I had a behavioral, somebody who had like masters or whatever in behavioral sciences for like young children or whatever. The course had started to change for me. I was put in I had a psychologist, whichever one talks about your feelings. That one, I always forget which one that is. And I had anger management classes and whatnot. So like second year, second grade was like a hard turn. Um, Rory, we went to our first parent teacher conference in kindergarten, and there's their strengths area, there's their focus area, and then there's their more or less things we need to improve area. Strengths area talked about all of our strengths. Focus area talked about all of our like, other focuses, and the area things to improve area all kept talking about more strengths and the fact that she was a role model in the class. And I was like, oh. So what do we need to work on? And she's like, no, she's great across the board. Everything's awesome.
Nice.
Can't even hope for better. Like everything's great. And I'm like, call my mom. You need a new wand. Like your mother shit don't work on me. So funny. Anyways, y'all probably noticed that Jake isn't here. He's not just hiding behind his beautiful stash and mushroom hat. That's actually just there left over from
What? Jake's not here?
Yeah. I know
But he's I can see him on Twitch.
Yeah. I know he's talking about as much as he usually does anyways, but
Oh.
what was I saying? So it's funny, I was on Doxy's channel last week and he sent me a message that said something along the lines of, I see you're the Jake of that channel. Anyways, yeah, he said you're the Jake of this stream. That's what he said.
Fantastic.
So Jake isn't here this week, and it's because despite having recently been vaccinated, Jake got the vid.
Oh shit! Really?
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Him and his kids all got COVID.
Oh, no,
fuck.
it's little kiddos.
Yeah. So fortunately for them, the little ones got harder symptoms earlier on while he kind of like held it
because
out.
they hadn't been vaccinated.
Hadn't been vaccinated. And so he was able to take care of his kids while his body was still holding it together. And then eventually his body succumbed, and he's fighting it right now. So his kids are doing better, which is nice because when you feel like crap, having something that depends on, if you feel like crap and you have a cat that needs you to feed it, you just want to eat it across the room. But then you have to like make like eggs and avocado and stuff like breakfast.
That's not normal people stuff.
No.
Also, don't feed your cat eggs and avocado stuff. What are you doing? No wonder it's porky.
I will admit that I did have intrusive thoughts when I was very, very sick, and Rocket kept coming up to this point blank and going meow, meow, meow while I was in bed. I'm
So
just
you
like,
get the
oh
squirt
god,
bottle, and
why?
you're just like, motherfucker.
I didn't do anything, but I thought about it.
Yeah. It's
So there's only one use for a squirt bottle when it comes to cats, and I'm going to show it right now. This is Kitty Be Good. It's like grapefruit oil. So if a cat scratches somewhere that you don't want it to scratch, you spray that on there, and they will not scratch it for
Is
a
that
period
like-
of time.
That's cool.
Is that like a sort of acid that burns between their fingers and makes them
No,
like writhe
no,
in
no,
pain?
no. It's like, you know, when you eat a lot of berry, and then you sit on the loo afterwards, and you have that sort of horrible smell, and you want to get out there as quick as possible. It's that, but for cats, they want to just get away from this horrible smell.
Oh, so I could spray my entire house with it?
I've got to ask, have you tried the tinfoil on countertops thing?
No, because Artie's a perfect cat, and I've never had any issues with her going in places that she shouldn't.
Oh,
Have
that's
you
funny.
seen that before, Scott?
One of my
have
friends has two little cats younger than mine that are doing exactly that. Like, they're up on the counter where the food is. Like,
Yeah.
my
So
cat is not.
sorry,
like
God. Nice. Yeah, so you put like tinfoil on the counter top, so they can't really see it until they jump up. And as soon as they hit it, it's an unpleasurable sensation or sound, and they just bounce right back off.
Yeah, it's like
That's funny.
you put loops of tape on surfaces you don't want them to go on. Then when they get up there, they stick to the tape, and they get very annoyed and never go up there again.
When my
Not that
buddy,
I would actually subject that to my cat.
when my buddy Keith was a kid,
Yeah.
they got the
Wait, sorry.
my buddy Keith was a kid. His parents got a modified pressure mouse traps. And so they were the ones where you could turn down the pressure, so it was like non-lethal. It was like a snapping sound that, like, if you put your finger in there, it would go clamp and you go ow. But it wasn't like you know what I mean, or it wouldn't like break anything. So they would get that, and they put those on their couches, and that's how they trained their dog not to go on the couch.
Wow.
So then the dog, like, after like a year of doing that, the dog never went on the couch. But they would, if they left the house for like the day, they would leave one of them still on each couch, but like not even open anymore, like closed, just put it up there, and the dog would just be like, and yeah, that's how they train their dog not to go on the couch. And I'm like,
Can't you
It's a
just
little
like
aggressive.
train dogs without brutalizing them?
I mean, I've never had an issue with training dogs, you know?
Right.
I mean, my dog goes on the couch, but that's because when we first got our old couch, so that's on my back porch, when we first got our old couch that I still love and fall asleep on, I was like 10 years ago. Brittany was like, we have a brand new couch. The dog is not allowed on the couch. I was like, no problem. I got this. And I started training the dog that minute not to go on the couch. About 7 hours later, we're watching a movie, and Brittany's like, I can't do it anymore. And I had the dog on the couch with us. So like last night, Brittany and I passed out on the couch. Rory woke up in the middle of the night from some sort of nightmare, came and passed out on the couch, cuddled with Brittany. The dog came and cuddled with me. And the cat, because, you know, there's like the couch and like the love seat. The cat went, Brittany always has Rory's clothes for the next day set on the love seat. So when she gets ready in the morning, they're right there waiting for her. The cat went and like curled up on Rory's clothes and stared at us the whole night. Because Brittany's like, I woke up and it was still staring at us. And then she's like, stupid cat. I had to get her another outfit because, you know, it's gross because cat fur.
I mean, to be fair, you left it on a seat.
I was about to say there was a lot of ways you could have
Like,
prevented
this
that.
cat clearly
set the cat on
understands
fire.
that this is a seat. It's
You
not a
even-
resting place for clothes.
But
But if you
Rid,
burn the cat, it won't
Put
have fur.
something on top.
But if you burn the clothes, it won't have fur.
But if you burn the cat, it won't have fur.
If you burn the clothes, it won't have fur.
I will say, at my old place, there was one room that our landlord, because it was the wrong room with carpet, and I don't know, our landlord was insane, was just like, the cat cannot go in this room.
I mean,
And
you can,
so-
just can't pee on the floor. But even still,
Well,
that can
yeah.
be cleaned. But go on.
Yeah, I know. It was one of those things. But like, he learned he wasn't allowed in there. And once he learned that, he was like, I'm
going in there.
there.
Because like the dog's not allowed somewhere. Most dogs are like, okay. Some dogs, you'll be like, oh, I'm going to fuck. But cats are like, whatever you don't want is that my purpose for existing.
Well, it's. I think it's more that like he hated closed doors in general, but we managed to get him used to that. But the idea of like a room being locked off, he wanted to know what was in there. He's got to know what's in there. He never did anything other than run in and like jump on everything and then leave.
Yeah.
Artie's the same. Like, I'll close this door if I'm doing an injection because obviously, cat needle no. And I open the door and she's just waiting outside, like, "Hey, what have you been up to, Dad?"
I mean, I have this gate right here, and the cat's too old and too pudgy to jump it, so she doesn't come in. Anyways, I have to say my office is so cold right now. I have, even though the bulkhead is closed, the door that goes to the bulkhead is open, and I have 2 fans blowing that way towards it to blow air out. Because Brittany was super sweet, and Paulied, I had already stained the table. She had Paulied this yesterday, so it still smells like I'm gonna die of poison right now. so I still have to wet sand this probably tomorrow and hit it with this final layer of poly on top to keep it.
It looks great down there, but I can't help but think that you should change the color hue to like a red hue. Yeah, doesn't it feel warmer already?
No.
It does, don't lie.
And now I'm horny.
Why?
No,
what?
You're envious.
Is that what green means?
No, envious.
Yeah,
They said if you eat the
what?
green M&Ms, if you eat the green M&Ms, if you are from Norway and you're, if you eat the green M&Ms, you have that's right. You don't remember
What?
that?
No.
Oh yeah. So
Shakespeare, the green-eyed monster doth rear its ugly head.
yeah.
That's envy.
No, the other green-eyed monster. No. So you remember? You ever hear the old phrase? If somebody like rips the if somebody rips the beer labels off of their beer bottle, it means that they're having more or less like issues with that. Like, bro, you need to go.
No,
you get that
I've not
taken care
heard
of.
this. You're
Okay,
such
so
a 90s person.
I mean, 90s and earlier, but it's an old thing. It's like if there's no trash barrel though.
Yeah. Or they have ADHD and are fidgeting.
I mean,
I remember bottles of literally everything.
or
No,
there's
my-
just bored or an awkward conversation, or
My housemate just used to peel them off just for the sake of it. No ADHD, and then leave the bottle on the floor. Really?
Yeah.
Oh well.
but either way, so there's an old thing like I don't know, whatever wives' tale. I don't know what you call it. It more or less, if you're ripping the
it's a
labels
weird
off your
one.
beer bottle.
I will say I've heard that one. Yeah.
So the same idea is if you eat your M&Ms and you eat all the green ones first, that means it means the
But
same.
why green?
I don't know. I usually eat the blue ones first.
That's
It
so
should,
arbitrary.
it should be red, surely. Like red's the color of power and virility and
anger.
etc. Yeah, all of which are related with.
Hey, I'm gonna leave some jokes alone. I'm gonna leave some jokes alone because I think that your that your girlie is a sweetheart. So
I know she's like half your age, dude, but come on, you're not that old.
she's also a third my size. She looks like she probably weighs about like 90 pounds. So you have to convert that to British.
I can't. I don't.
Looks like
I
she
don't
weighs
think
about 8 stone. So I have no idea how much a stone weighs.
no, I use kilograms.
Oh, either way.
Also, probably the reason that like Rory was scared meeting Eric is because Eric's like tall and she's not used to seeing tall men.
My stepdad is 6'1", 6'2", which is Eric's biological father.
She's lived with you her entire life, so she's used to short men.
She knows Papa. And Dad is 5'11". Thank you. All right, we should get into the game.
Yes,
Okay,
buffs that I've been trying to get to work for half an hour now.
Well, I won't lie. I have no idea how the heck we're supposed to run this session without Jake. Jake is so pivotal, but I didn't want to just straight up cancel. So, all right, let me look at your buffs here. Which one are you looking at? Reduced person?
Yeah, and expeditious retreat. They're both not working.
All right, so let me open up another roll 20. And open up a different campaign, see what I had to do. half-ass. I know this is starting off with Tesh being on the run. I know that's how we're starting off this session, but at the same time, like, I don't know how we're gonna do the whole session without Jake. We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So this is -2 strength to dexterity as an option. So let me check. Dexterity is currently it's currently a 12. So I'm gonna click his button. And it totally reduces dexterity. Let me see what you wrote differently from him.
So I think
because you
of
wrote
what's
maybe
happening-
because you wrote STR instead of strength, and maybe because you have full colons instead of semicolons.
Oh, do I have? Oh, that might be it.
Yeah. What is it? How's the song go?
And
Having
how
a
do you do
whale of a
strength and it's not
time,
STR?
Shampoo, the whole team coming clean.
If it's
shampoo.
if it's not STR, what is it? What do I write for? Just strength. in
Strength. Yeah.
general?
Yeah. Because his works over there. It even says -1
Okay.
size to AC, so his
That
AC
one
goes down by
worked.
2.
Okay.
Yep.
Did my attack increase? No. My AC increased, so that's good. The last one is to get the attack one to work.
Now, I gotta go over one last detail with you once you're done setting these as well, Tesh, because if you're modifying them while they're turned on, that could alter your character sheet in an annoying way. You almost need to make sure that you're at
okay.
baseline. I mean, it's too late now, right? You gotta make sure they're at baseline. You're gonna have to unclick all your buffs and make sure everything's correct at base, and then you can click them all back on.
All right, I'll do that real quick. Also, Expeditious Retreat wasn't working.
This is why you don't
Check
play
it out.
spellcasters, guys. Just have a horse in a lance. Easy.
That would change things. Gallon, you said Expeditious Retreat ain't working. It says +30 to speed. Probably because you have to write how it's +30. +30 enhancement to speed, probably. Oh, you also
It isn't. It just says
Expeditious
increase your land
Retreat.
speed.
I forgot an X in Expeditious. Yeah, but that is an enhancement bonus.
Well, the issue there is my Aegis speed one is just increased land speed as well. It's not an enhancement bonus.
That one's different.
Okay,
Did I spell
but
enhancement
I think
wrong?
the thing is, you might have put enhancement in the Aegis one.
No.
Wait, no, I wouldn't have. Never mind.
No, I spelled it correctly. Okay. Super exciting as we're doing character sheet stuff.
Sorry, guys.
No,
I
you're
was
fine.
trying to get this sorted beforehand.
That's fine.
You're good.
While you're doing character stuff, I'm going to take a moment
Oh, it's working now.
to direct people to my friends.
Okay.
Some of my friends have been working on a Kickstarter for a tabletop game called Schism, Immolation of
Yes.
Oakenfur, which is a introduction to the tabletop wargaming genre. I myself haven't played it yet, but I'm quite excited to hopefully get my hands on something and give it a go. I actually know Oakenfur. This is where I retired my first character in Yarbuskir, but this is many hundreds of years prior to that. And I think it looks fantastic, actually. You can clearly see that each piece of it has been handcrafted. And apparently it's very simple and easy to pick up and play. It is designed for beginners.
Wasn't each piece computer generated in a CAD image creator and then printed on a 3D printer?
And all the cards are hand drawn. All the little symbols for different things are hand drawn. I mean, obviously they are initially digitally hand drawn and then reproduced digitally, but it looks nice to me.
So I fully backed it. Like, I went all into the highest tier. And then little Eric, big Eric, he fully backed it as well. And then for Christmas for our dad, I reached out to Will and got a slightly special edition version of it, and then my brothers and I all went in to back it a third time for my to play back it a third time for my dad, because it's a game that he would absolutely love. So
It looks really cool.
so over in the Davis house, it's already been well, that's kind of actually it's more of the Cox house, because 2 of those are Cox and one's a Davis. But anyways,
You're a cock, yeah.
yeah, no, I'm a Davis. So
Sure.
it is already been back 3 times by us, but it's I love it. I hope it gets funded, because if it doesn't, I'll be very sad.
Yeah, it looks really cool. When I eventually have money spare, we'll definitely grab it.
Oh, well, I mean, if you don't have money spent, you shouldn't feel...
I don't have it at the moment.
You shouldn't feel bad. But...
Yeah. Just
No, I
unfortunate
thought
timing
since
for
we
me.
had some downtime, I'd chill it viciously.
Yeah, no.
So Tesh, it
I
does
think
look like everything
it's
is
working
working.
now,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like, what's
I
really
did
cool
remove
is
everything first. Sorry, go on.
your speed times 1. Does that stack on top of the astral skin saying plus 10 speed?
Yeah, so yes, the astral skin plus 10 speed is just a thing on the astral suit, and then I can take the speed up to 2 times more, because it's a level 5. I think I can take it another time.
Okay.
There's a limit to the amount of numbers I can take it depending on level. Where is it? Speed. Oh no, I can just take it up to 5 times. Never mind. There's no level limit.
Okay, so just so you're aware, the reason why things were getting funky was things like you were missing a space here, or use a colon versus a semicolon there, or a comma instead of a semicolon there. It was all basic like coding stuff. That
Oh yeah, fun times.
yeah. Luckily, my eye has been trained to find those little misnomers.
Well, thank you. Okay,
I
I think I got everything now.
I always end every line with a semicolon, and the reason why I do that
I
is
think
in
that's
case you ever
probably a
want
good
to
idea,
add
yeah.
another line afterwards. It's all taken care of for you. But either way, so yeah, so just as a quick run, your speed is currently 30. I'm going to hit you up with some astral skin. I'm going to hit you up with your expeditious retreat and your speed X1, and that should bring your speed to 75. And it's 75. Yep. Cool. So I'm going to unclick those,
cool.
and you're going to put onto you whatever is applicable at the moment, and you should be pretty solid, okay?
Yep. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. Reduce
You're welcome, sir.
Speed.
I love that we have you can make your own
Ionis.
modifiers for this game. You can't do that for
That's
5e.
genuinely,
yeah.
yeah, that's genuinely one of my favorite things about this sheet.
These sheets, yeah.
I have other issues with these sheets, but that is one of my favorite parts. The fact that
honestly,
I can add the buffs.
If they got
The
rid
5e
of
one has gotten better. The 5e one has global modifiers now. You can do similar things with.
the only thing this sheet needs is an if and then. That's all it is.
Yes. Yes.
If so, and if and then doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like listen, if and then doesn't have to be if I roll within my crit range, then roll to confirm crit versus rolling both times every time. It could be this. Every time I roll my attack roll, show my result and show a little button for confirm. This is confirm. Same as you have a button to roll your damage. So every time it shows, and that way, if you roll your confirmation range, click that button to confirm. That way you're not rolling double dice of everything every time.
Yeah.
That's all we need is for it to the baseline thing to change to that. I wonder if Josh could code that out, because it's such a simple change.
I think he's probably tried, because I know he doesn't like it as well.
Oh, all of us hate it, and I really wish that whoever it was that developed it would change it. But that way they could change it through the entire Roll20 with an updated format. But I don't know.
Yeah. The 5e sheet is getting better, because there's I've been having fun with a wild magic barbarian, and I've got it so I roll my rage. It tells me what number that then triggers what buff, and I can add that buff to my character, sort of thing.
That's nice.
So it's got global modifiers now, which is much.
That's a
much
bunch
nicer.
of global modifiers, yeah. All right. I think we should probably get started.
Yes. Yes. We'll see how long I last.
You already died.
It turns out I am faster than I thought I was, though, because... Oh, wait, no, that went back down to 65 from 75. Or did you click... Why did that change?
I unclicked everything in case you want to put them back on.
Oh, it's not counting the 10 from the astral skill. Oh no, it is. What?
So while he's figuring that out, we have a crazy windstorm happening here. The only reason why I have power is because the town I live in has its own electrical thing inside of it. So like, it's owned by the town itself. I'm not on like the national grid format, so on and so forth. So everybody around me doesn't have power, but I do. Yay! So I gotta see if my job has power when the first person goes in a little bit. What's up?
It's apparently because my light, I'm in medium load because of the size change with, but doesn't everything change
when
with
your
me?
size change? The weights should change, but that's not going to automatically be changed. So
Okay,
the way
so
that
I'll just
the way that your loads work, if I remember correctly, when your strength goes down, obviously the amount you can carry goes down, but also as a small sized person, the math that works, you multiply that by 0.75. So you can carry less for your strength threshold as well. So if you can normally carry, say, 133 pounds and your strength goes down, it brings it to 100 pounds, but because you're small size, it brings it to 75 pounds. While granted, the stuff that you carry goes down half of its weight.
Oh, so if everything I carry goes down half of its weight, I'll be in light load still.
Not everything, but pretty much everything. But yeah, like coins aren't going to go down in weight and whatnot. But yeah.
Well,
So, because like, what do you have? What's your heaviest thing?
at the moment it's my
Parade
parade
armor
armor
goes down to I think
and
10
my
pounds.
arrows. Actually,
your
what
backpack.
is the backpack currently? That was our travel ration stuff. That's why it's quantity 0 at the moment.
Oh wait, 0. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that was
your
our
light
travel
load goes up
ration
to
stuff.
43 pounds at the moment. Are you currently small size? Yeah. Well, that's funny because you're actually not even in the correct ranges either, because your size is still medium, which means the math isn't even correctly done for you. So your load is at you're at 56 pounds out of 43, and you're not even small size factored here. How are you at 56 pounds? You have only 20 here. How are you at 56?
I don't know.
Coins. How much? Oh no, you have almost no coins on you.
I have nothing. What? I don't understand where all that weight is coming from.
30,
Unless it's
37, 38, 39, 40, 42, 44, 45,
bastard
50.
sword is
Oh,
6.
it's just a ton of stuff on you is adding up.
Oh, okay.
Like your size stone, why do those weigh multiple pounds?
That was just I was putting them in. I don't know how much they weigh. I was going to
I'm
look it up.
pretty sure they weigh in no way worth noting.
Okay, cool. Then I'm going
Either
to
that
change
or
that.
0.1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll put 0.1.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why.
I'll do the same with the cognizance crystal. A lot of the stuff I just put as 1, but because I didn't know the weight and I was trying to look for it.
Same thing with like your level 1 potion. Oh, it's in your belt, but it's a potion. Like those are a 0.1. They're like no way worth noting. You know what I mean? Those are only 0.1.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. What else do you have on you? Here's another potion. Your potion
The stuff that I put have weight 0 is the stuff that I would have in my backpack, which I leave at the place we're renting because it's inconsequential stuff.
Yep, I gotcha. Potion belt. Deep crystal braces of accuracy have a weight. Chakra has a weight. Your bastard sword definitely has a weight. Your bow has a weight. That other stuff does not. So you're down to 44.3 pounds. So you're still 1.3 over because you've reduced strength, and that's
But
not
then
including the
if
fact that
my
you're small
parade
size.
armor went to 10, it would go down.
Yeah. Double check the weight of armor when you go small sized. Sorry. And while you do that, I'm gonna double check when you're small size. Bigger and smaller. Small size creatures carry 0.75, which means that you have 0.75 times, was that 43 pounds? Means it's actually 32.25 is your actual light load when you're small sized.
Half as much when small.
So that means your bastard sword and your armor go down. So you drop another 13 pounds, but that still puts you at, dropping 13 pounds. That puts you at 31.3.
And how much could I carry?
32.25.
Okay, so I would be under thing. So
for simplicity, let's just put your armor at 0. And that put you at the light load. So you actually have you're 1 pound away. Your bow also goes down, so you're like 3 pounds or so away. You know what I mean? But still, yeah. All right, cool.
That's good to know.
That's important because that's factoring this upcoming scene that you're in. All right.
Yeah. So that entire yeah, there we go. Okay. So I had the wrong weight for a lot of that. Now I know.
Yep. Perfect. All right. One of the other ways to get around it is to not apply size modifier to a lot of the spells that you have and actually change your character's size, but those take like 10 minutes to update on your sheet, which is so frustrating.
Yeah.
So for some reason that one thing is like half broken, but okay, cool. Neil, would you like to set the scene of where Tesh left off, or would you like to finish eating?
I'll do you one better.
I'll finish while
I'll do both.
So there's a roof and sorry, spit.
So last week on Climë, session 20 of Climë was spent investigating the destruction of the or I should say upcoming and planned and rumored destruction of the residences that were given to the Master of War and the Prince to be lent out to people who would be visiting of some stature, of some level of power that needed to be kept either in good conditions or close to the Prince or Master of War. Both of these buildings were, as we understood, scheduled for destruction. And not like standard destruction, as far as we could tell. This is a massive undertaking. These are big buildings. These are stone buildings. And they are pretty much in good condition, and from what we can tell, are going to be destroyed in very swift order, which either requires hundreds of people, thousands of people potentially, to get it done in such a short amount of time, or something else. So, Viggo and Triss traveled into the center of town by the palace where these buildings are and began to have a look around. Galen decided to have a look high up. It was relatively late at night by this point, I believe. We had sort of our general looks and we couldn't really see anything going on. The buildings looked intact, but we could hear something. There was a loud scraping, banging, smashing, all sorts. Through a series of events, Galen and Triss made friends with some guards and helped them out with dealing with some unruly citizens. And they managed to get Galen on a rooftop on his own, where Galen, who is particularly good at perception, saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. Which to the players instantly raised alarm bells. And to Galen, who is not unintelligent, made him question. So he wanted to go for a closer look, which he did. And he did this by shrinking down and jumping from rooftop to rooftop until he got to the buildings right next to this one. And there came a point where he passed through something that wasn't there, an illusion. And when he did so, he passed through and he saw golems, for lack of a better term, big statues of stone destroying the buildings. And the refuse was being piled into these black holes in the ground that were then dragged, the holes themselves, dragged away elsewhere. At which point, an alarm went off.
Oh, yeah.
And so he saw no more. And Galen fled for his, well, I mean, effectively, life. He received the tender caress of not one, but two fireballs, a lightning bolt, and a hail of arrows.
No, it was one firebolt, one lightning bolt, and one glitter dust thing. I don't know what the spell's called.
I thought it was two. Oh, okay. Yeah, after receiving a glitter dust, which gives you a -40 to stealth, and it's like that blue thieves paint. He's marked now. Like, he touched the wrong place. He's marked. It's going to be difficult to get it off until the spell duration ends. And he then jumped from the rooftop and is beginning his flight. Meanwhile, Triss is drinking. Viggo's fondling himself in a corner.
No, he has a bit of a cough at the moment.
Oh no.
He has a bit of a cough at the moment. We're all doing well. Thank you very much, Nico. Go ahead, sir.
And that is where we left off. There is some form of pursuit from people with bows, people with wands. Tesh is small and fast, and in the dark, he is glittery. So if he goes into light, he will be very obvious. But he doesn't, as far as we can tell, actually put out light.
Yes, I also want to clarify. I remembered to look up the expeditious retreat and reduced person. They're both 1 minute, I think. Double check. 1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute per level.
So
yeah, 1 minute per level. Yeah.
So I did 2 lots of checks on the roofs, and then 1 round of combat. So is that 3 rounds? Like 3 sets of essentially 3 rounds for the 1 minute.
3 rounds of combat, right?
Well, 1 round of combat, 2 rounds of checks.
Yeah, 2 checks.
I remember there was also a thing too where you didn't have to roll for it because you had done so successful, but there was still something else that happened. So there's another round right there. So I think it was like 4 or 5 rounds in total that you've used so far. But the duration should be 1 minute per level, right?
Yes, but they're both coming from the cloak.
Oh, it's your cast level 1.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the cloak is only cast level 1. Yeah.
Okay, so which one did you activate first?
I probably would have activated reduced person first, and
because obviously you would activate the other one the round afterwards, right? So you could say one of them is 5 rounds in, one of them is 4 rounds in, and that makes sense. Yeah. But so all of a sudden you're running, all of a sudden you get slower down. You're like, what the heck? I was like, bloop. Oh no.
Oh, that's okay. So that's 4 rounds. So 4 rounds of reduced person, 5 rounds of expeditious retreat.
Correct. Now I want to be clear in bringing this back in from where Neil was, and I'm going to say one last thing, like off topic, and get back to it. So my daughter apparently doesn't have power at her school either. My wife just dropped her off over there a little bit ago, and they don't have power at the moment, but they still took her. So it's like, oh, okay. She's not coming back home. And she's like, I think they just lost power. Because, like, sometimes you have to shut down entire grids to, like, fix areas and turn it back on. So, so she's like, no, they still took her in. So I don't know if it's supposed to be, like, a partial day, or I'm like, I don't know. And I just looked at the National Grid map of power outages. I don't think where I work has power at the moment. So,
oh dear.
Yeah, and it's kind of a small town, even though it's a commercial area. It's a small town. I don't know if it's going to be back on later. We'll see. But like I said, I fortunately live in a town that has its own power thing, so it takes care of its own shit. So moving on. So you sir, as you're on that rooftop, having just ran through, looking, was like and skittered to a stop and started running back the other way. You were running back the other way. There was the fireball, the volley of arrows, and the lightning bolt that went your way. And you're just like, do you like your chicken original or extra crispy? That's an old joke for you. And so as you are on the roof and you go to the edge and you jumped off of the roof, which is more or less where we ended it. You jumped off of the roof, kind of like tossing a look back at Viggo as you're all shimmering and glittery, like you just came out of
I did send
a nightclub.
I did like give him a little missive being like, I'll meet you later.
Yeah. I think you had done that beforehand, but yeah.
Yeah, it was when I was on the roof when I was jumping, I think was when I did it. Yeah.
So you don't dive, you hit the ground, so it only took a little bit of damage for the hit because it was 30 feet up. Yeah. And I think most I got absorbed or whatever it was. And then
it was 5 damage, 2 of it got absorbed, so 3.
You were able to easily run off into the darkness. That's not a concern.
Okay.
You can definitely go running off. However, you are glittery, so clearly other people can see you running off. That doesn't mean that the glitter lasts forever. If I remember correctly, that spell only lasts for it's like 1 minute or whatever it is, right? So that spell will last for a little bit after you stop being small and quick. But so it's not like they're going to be able to track you for forever. And it certainly isn't like you have a ton of guards right on your heels. You're easily able to outpace them, outmaneuver them. I imagine potentially even climbing up another house, jumping another couple of roofs and dropping down again. First story, not multi-story, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just to go over a couple of aisles or whatever from where you are.
Well, I still have my climb speed. I deliberately made sure I have dark vision and climb speed still as well as the speed. So
to be clear, it's like if you're playing a Spider-Man video game and somebody's trying to chase you on foot, you're gone. Like, it's not an issue of whether or not they're able to follow you. However, it is an issue of eyewitnesses that are able to see kind of like what moved past and which direction it went and whatnot along the way that they'll be able to utilize.
Creed. Just hold A and blend. You'll be fine. Best mechanic in Assassin's Creed.
I love that it just works too. Like, it's like, huh? But either way,
You're just like, that's it. Invisible.
Is gone.
People are always religious. It's okay. It's okay. We said it both in, what is it, Italy and
he can't be a bad guy. He's religious.
Yeah, right? Exactly. It's like, oh, yeah.
There was a video I saw of a convention where they had someone dressed up as Altair.
Yeah, which is
Altair.
The best one.
Yeah. And he had a group of friends that were dressed up as the priests, but like he actually went in, like did it, and it worked. Like you couldn't tell which one of them he was. I was like, okay, cool. Nice.
That is cool. If I remember correctly, the video game they wore brown and you wore white, but either way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. They were very deliberately dressed very similarly. So
yeah, everybody's favorite is Ezio, but Ezio was like a typical, lack of better phrasing, it's an actual term that you use. He was a typical fuckboy. You know what I mean?
He started off as a typical fuckboy.
Yeah,
I agree, but actually, Altair is still probably my favorite because he's the original and the one I played the most. Yeah. But actually, Ezio's story spanning multiple games. Sorry, sidetracking. Ezio's story spanning multiple games. Like he actually develops.
Yeah, he's like a character. But if you did the Altair, he would have become better. You know.
So. Yeah, it's just which one was given more screen time.
Either way, let's keep going. So, where were we? Oh, yes. So it's not a matter of that test. You're easily able to make your way out of there. So I'm not going to have you doing any skill challenges or anything like that because you make your way out of there, no problem. It's more of, as I was hinting about last week in Discord, once again, people, what they are able to see and the magical forensics they're able to do afterwards to figure out who did what. Now, magical forensics is something that we already have proof of existing inside this town because of, somebody assassinated the goddamn prince before, right? Not too long ago. And so they were able to do that kind of stuff to try to figure out. But when they weren't able to find out who assassinated the prince and they're prepping for the next prince, you can imagine they just upgraded their equipment. You know what I mean? They hired a couple of new, better trained people to do this kind of work. Et cetera, et cetera. So what Vigo notices, Neil, your character, as I said, you came walking out of the bar area, and he's like, "Oh no!" and like hands you like his mug and his whatever it is, and you're like, "Oh, thanks." And you also kind of like make a perception check, because I don't think you were able to see it beforehand.
Perception. God damn, perfectly balanced.
As always,
I really enjoy not taking super high wisdom and perception. I think the temptation for Pathfinder, particularly Pathfinder, is to just whack it super high because it's so useful.
Yeah, but it's nice when you have something that fails because it gives you that like crux moment. I don't know, failing is fun sometimes, right?
I agree.
That's what I tell myself at night.
One of the things I did with Will, which I had a lot of fun with, is my character had a negative wisdom, and we put in an in-law reason why, because he sees things. And so when I did perception checks, sometimes Will would just throw in things that weren't there.
Will?
Will as in Kickstarter Will.
Oh, as in Kickstarter
Will. Will Graham.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and so,
he
so having
DMs?
that, like, yes, he does.
I didn't know Will Graham DM'd. Oh.
He's just done off-stream things. It's not
yeah. No, I know. I didn't know that. Oh, I'd love to play in a short game with him as a DM. I think that'd be fun. So, anyways.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it was a really fun idea of just being like, not only do I have negative perception checks, like really bad ones, I see things that other people don't see.
Yeah. All right, so, you, sir, friggin' dropping mushrooms before you play the session. You, sir, are running and kind of like making your way away. Neil, your character eventually kind of like walks up to the scene, like what the hell is going on? Why there's so many guards reacting, whatever. And eventually, as you're making your way over, another guard will kind of like come up to you and be like, stay back. Kind of like stopping you from going over there. But as you're like witnessing or trying to figure out what's going on, go ahead and roll a diplomacy check as you're like, what the hell is happening? You know? Because obviously your character would be interested. Tesh, you did get 2 Winifred's Wisdoms, but you can't stack them like that. So one of those are going to slide onto Neil's lap.
Okay. Thank you, chat.
Those are both from Steve.
But remind me to tell you about my kobold.
Yeah, Scott, a little bit.
You'll love it. I rolled stats.
Oh god.
It's a trigger warning for Scott.
Oh god. So with your diplomacy, sir, you're able to find out like an alarm went off, and you're kind of like, what alarm? So let's bring this to RP because the person's gonna be open with you because you passed, right? So as you're like, what's going on here?
I'm just gonna very quickly be right back.
Yeah. So that person's like, what's going on here? And he's like, an alarm went off.
An alarm? Like a bell?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. We were told that there's alarms set on the area around for people trying to creep. An alarm went off, and they, I don't know, they started shooting wands up that way, and there was explosions and stuff, and they got someone.
You got someone? I heard like a crack of lightning or something, you know, like that was us.
They got someone. Oh, I saw it.
Like,
the person was glittery and running off. That's all right. They'll probably be dead by morning.
Oh, they ran off.
Yeah.
So we didn't get them.
Shrugs. Not yet. I don't think.
So there's some sort of criminal on the loose.
For now.
I'm sure you boys will get it done with.
Yeah, they brought in bloodhounds from Eustace.
Oh. Must be difficult for them to work. There's a lot of smells around here.
No, not the bloodhounds from Eustace. I mean, I never seen them working. But I heard stories. Oh, I heard stories.
From Eustace?
Yeah.
Actually, from Eustace?
Yeah.
And they're actual dogs?
I mean, I've never seen a dog with that kind of saggy skin, but yeah, they look like dogs.
Didn't think those arcane cockroach people got along with animals, you know?
He's like, listen, I ain't saying anything about them gnomes. You never know where they might be.
Yeah, fair play, mate. Fair play. So, which way did the thief end up going?
He shrugs. I saw something glittery drop on the roof. There was an explosion. I think it was a spell. And then it looked like they may have jumped off the backside. Everyone started running around this way. I was told, watch the perimeter. You were literally the only one in the perimeter. Oh, no, here's a couple of other nosies. Hey, listen, you just stay back. Hey, you lot, slow down. Slow down.
Let me get out of your way. This place seems a bit dangerous for me. What's the fastest way out of the city? I'm not comfortable staying in a place that has explosions and lightning bolts being tossed about. Maybe a farmstead somewhere a bit safer.
He nods. He goes, only way in and out of the city. This time of day. He gestures and points one direction. He's like, but if you wait until morning, you're better off going that direction over there.
Appreciated. Stay safe.
He nods. Hey, I said slow down! And starts walking off.
I guess I'll make my way in the direction that he said you could make out at night.
Yeah, because that's to be like where an actual. Granted, Tesh isn't going to follow the rules, so that'd be
But
where there's
also-
an open gateway. Yeah.
But also, he gave me some very useful information there, which is I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for some wrinkly dogs
Sure.
on the way over.
Yeah. Heading over to the in and out area.
Yeah.
You roll me a perception check. I won't lie, this is gonna be a hard one because it's a combination of whether or not you could see them in
It's
the crowds.
dark.
Yeah.
I do have
time.
dark vision, to be fair.
Oh yeah, you
60
have dark vision, not low light vision. That's right.
Yeah. Honestly, not bad.
Ooh.
Not bad. All right, so it's gonna throw it to a
Kinda
percentage
tempted
die.
to-
Choose somebody in chat. I know Viking is here. You choose somebody in chat to roll you a D100.
Yeah, let's go with Viking. Good old
high
Viking.
is good, of course.
Don't screw me, Viking. Hey, that's pretty good.
That's actually pretty solid. Well, it's only 64 degrees in here, which isn't very cold, but it's windy because, and it's been raining for 4 days. Like it's windy and raining. 3 days. 3 days. Sunday was beautiful.
You got a heater next to you.
Nope, no
still.
heater at the moment. I put those away throughout the summer.
And what's 64 degrees? 64.
I can convert it on my thing
degrees
over there.
In
You know what I'm
real.
thinking about doing, Neil? I think they have these wires that you can put underneath carpets, like throw carpets. I think
Yeah.
I think I want to buy it and put it underneath because I'm on top of a carpet right here, right?
You can get underfloor heating, but I think
No,
you just
not
have
like
to be
full
careful.
installation. Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say your desk might, because of the weight of everything you've got there, you'd have to check that you're not going to damage
I would
it.
just want a radial one for right here. Let's see if I can actually do this in a way that's not obnoxious. Hold on. There's nothing around that's bad.
17.7 degrees is pretty chilly to me, to be honest.
I mean, I don't think it's that bad, but okay, here we go. So,
Oh my god! Oh,
so like
Um,
right here is like all carpet, right?
yeah,
So I got one sandal on, one off. One slipper on, one
yeah,
off.
yeah.
So if I could get like a radial, like one of those like floor carpets, like right here, that'll kind of cover up this whole area. That'll make it so that it's significantly like warmer for me.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
I
So I'm
feel
gonna
like
see if
my
that's a
parents
thing.
have that exact carpet.
What, these ones?
The
Yeah.
one that you're on.
Oh,
It's-
this one right
it's-
here?
it's-
Scott,
It's a very
Scott's
common
boomer.
style, though. I think.
I mean,
Scott's old.
I mean, Brittany bought 3 carpets like this because there's one under there, and then this one's layered on top of that one, and then this one's also layered underneath. She's gonna buy one
Yeah.
more to put over in this area over here. You know what I mean?
I actually quite
Fair
like
enough.
the style down in the D&D dungeon. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a fan of it in like a normal home myself personally,
No.
but in a D&D dungeon room, I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Those floating shelves, by the way, were so cool to install. That was so much fun to install.
They look really nice, actually. Are they
Yeah,
solid
they
wood?
do.
The wood is 130-year-old reclaimed wood.
Wow,
That was
Wow.
turned into that, right? And
that's cool.
and literally the whole basic of the aesthetic that we're obviously not done with, it's all based around this bookcase that my dad built for me when I was 21, 22 years old. That's Dad SR or Dad Dav SR, whatever it says in chat. He built that for me 15 years
That's
ago.
cool.
And like that is the baseline of the aesthetic that we're working on.
It is cool. It is
Yeah.
cool.
We still have to
It's come a
stain up
long.
there.
It's come a long way, really. That room.
Yeah. So, But I want to see if I can find like a floor heater that you put underneath the carpet so it like radiates up heat for me as needed.
Yeah.
So, I'll do a better thing in the future with this camera and like walking around or whatever after it's done. But, all right, cool. Back to game. We are. Sorry, you're
percentile
73. Yeah. So you actually, it's one of those things where you don't see any of these dogs, right? But you do see an area where there's a bunch of guards that are kind of like moving quickly over in that direction, kind of like tight packed. And you see struggling to keep up with them, but with no complaints. It's one of those, if you've ever seen like a short person, like very seriously, like moving with purpose, trying to get to where they need to go. Like it's one of those scenarios where you see like a gnome very briskly walking to keep up with the brisk walking guards. And you go over, and it's one of those things where it kind of catches your eye. So you walk over to like the nearest corner to check it out. And you see that as they're walking between all of the guards, you see a mastiff that's between them. Right? This is not a small dog. This is a dog that's built like almost like a Newfoundland or like a small bear cub, right? Like this is a massive looking dog. And definitely this thing has on it, its skin definitely looks like, if you've ever seen like a basset hound before, right? It looks like everything's smoking. Like it has that kind of look to its face. Look to its ears, even like its shoulders and everything. It all looks like its skin or its fur or whatever that's on it. And it's not like a big poofy, like a Newfie or anything like that. But it all looks like it's kind of like almost like it's sagging off of the creature. The creature is able to move quickly, not because it's walking particularly fast. It's because, like I said, it's a bigger dog, but it has long legs. You know what I mean? Like again, I must imagine like a basset hound. Wait, not that. Like a bloodhound, like long legs. So it's like as its paws are easily able to kind of like move it in stride with the brisk walking humans and very brisk walking gnome. Just trying to gotta keep up, get my steps in, gotta keep up, you know.
What a trooper. I respect.
Yeah. So you see them walking that other direction. So as you see that thing, as you look over at that creature, why don't you go ahead and roll me a sense motive, please?
Nice.
Do we have a command for the campaign yet? I can't remember.
I don't remember either. Gotta try it. I see.
I see.
Yeah.
I bet we don't.
Oh, apparently we don't. We can recap in 1 second.
Yeah, well, let's do a proper recap.
Just go ahead and roll me your.
Can I? Legit question. Don't know that it's stupid. Can I roll an animal handling to read the animal rather than the people, or is that not what I'm trying to do here?
I will allow that, yes, sir. And that's what I was having you roll for.
Because I'm much better with animals than people.
Are you comfortable with that 19?
Oh, that's cruel. I need to say that I'm using Winifred's wisdom before, so I might luck this one.
Yeah, you would have to.
Do you think that's a good idea, Tash?
Say again, sorry?
Do you think that's a good idea to luck this one?
Yes. Also show us how many we have. Oh, nice.
Okay, nice.
Right, cool. So with your 23 that you got on this, sir. So I'll explain in a second, verbally, Tesh. So when you get with your 23 total, you watch this thing moving along, and there's something about the way that it moves that strikes you as being bizarre. Its movements are semi-rigid compared to the movements around it. I don't know. It just has this way to it that its movements to it that kind of like throw you off a little bit. It just doesn't seem like it's natural. It doesn't seem like it's moving normally. Again, it seems almost stiff or rigid, despite the fact that it's able to slowly walk and keep pace and so on and so forth. As the thing is moving, it doesn't pant or anything like that. It doesn't look like it's breathing particularly heavily, even though it's obviously moving at a quick pace. You don't see it blink once or anything like that while it's walking. Something about this thing, again, it throws you off. It just seems like,
good.
That's a.
I'm gonna get eaten by demon dogs.
Almost like a shiver down the spine, of that thing, whatever it is that's moving along. That being said, to give a quick recap, I have a homebrew world called Aurorum. like a very quick recap so we can keep going with the game. Homebrew world called Aurorum. In that homebrew world, we've had many campaigns, all in the same timeline, all set around each other, where we've even had crossovers between different campaigns. Kingmaker, Warmonger, Regicide, Thronekeeper, and Inclime. Inclime is actually an in-game phrase for whatever it is. This particular game, whereas everybody else sees this one nation called Paradel as being like the antagonists or the bad guys, this one campaign is to explore Paradel further. These people are actually serving their Inclime within, which is like a services to the military or whatever, is a short version, to the Paradel military. These are kind of like the good guys of the bad guy nation. So we're kind of like, this is the campaign to see the other perspective of the world. So this is the 5th campaign set inside this world. We currently have 2 other campaigns actively going on this channel right now. Monday nights, Wednesday mornings, and Friday nights. Okay, back to you.
And they all focus on different areas of the world.
Yeah, different areas of the world. Yep. All right, cool. 2 of the campaigns have already ended. One of them, sadly, and the other one came to its end, finished its story. So
also sadly.
Sad. Yeah, sad.
Also sad, yeah.
All right. Where were we? So yeah, you see these rigid moving dog, this funny looking moving dog that's heading along. It's one of those things where you're watching it and you're staring at this thing. And you're just kind of like, something about that dog is off.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get to where it is I need to go. You make your way over to there, and you're able to see that when you get up to where the guards are kind of standing there as you approach. It's just, what did I say beforehand originally? 3 guards standing there as you approach, same as it always has been, right? And same as it's actually, if you're looking for the map, sir, map is Eroth.
Oh, okay.
So you go walking up, there's 3 guards, which is typical, Neil.
3
I
guards
don't know if I spelled that right.
at this entrance / exit. You mean?
Correct. That's where you have to see the 3 guards standing there.
And this dog?
They're not there. Remember, they walked over towards where you were leaving from.
I see. So they're like right at the scene. Yeah. Gotcha. Because
as you were heading from A to B, they were heading from C to A.
It might be that it's better to follow the dog, even though it's creepy as because if that has got Galen's scent, then that's how I'm going to find Galen. Right.
So you want to follow the dog, because the dog hasn't even sniffed out where the scent's origin is yet.
Oh, I put an A in front. Okay.
All right, let's go. I know that Galen is fast. Let's go to this entrance / exit, see if I can hear anything.
Sure.
Or heard any rumors.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're walking up to the guards. As you're walking up to the guards, heading towards the exit, one of the guards just kind of like looks at you and gives you a bit of a nod. They don't say anything, unless you walk right up to a guard.
You boys hear about what happened by the palace?
No.
I heard that someone covered in glitter set off an alarm, and then lightning struck them.
One of the other guys kind of leans out and goes, "Hey, we're not dealing with any drunks today. Just have them pass on," says to the guard that you're talking to. And
No, I'm serious. Just spoke to one of the guards there.
Listen, buddy, listen. You don't want me arresting you for being disorderly and throwing you in the hole, do you?
No, I don't want that. Thanks.
He's like, yeah, because he looks down at the weapon at your hip, or one of the weapons at your hip, and says, "Sometimes things that get confiscated don't make their way back."
Yeah, I noticed that with this guard the other day. He lost a tooth, never came back. Yeah, funny
when you say that, the one that had kind of like called out, "We're not dealing with drunks," he kind of like leans out and stands up from where he was resting and starts walking over and says, "You got a problem there, friend?"
Well, I just thought this might be the way to, find something interesting. If there is a glittered cover criminal on the loose.
Listen, friend, this is one of 2 things: a way out of the city or a quick way to Pound Town.
Funny. I've been there. Saw your mum. No, I don't say
Oh
that.
no, that would be a bad idea.
All right. I see. Fair play. So you've not seen anyone covered in glitter come through?
He takes another step forward without saying anything else. Clearly getting threatening, reaching down to the hilt of his weapon. You see, which by the way is at first it's going to be a like a club, not a. Not a
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Non-lethal. Yeah.
Not non-lethal at first. Thank you. Not a sword or anything like that this time. But as he's kind of like making this step forward, you're thinking about your next response. You actually hear bootsteps running up a street because overall in this area it's relatively quiet, right? Because you're far enough away from where everything had taken place. So you hear bootsteps coming up, which draws your attention and the other guard's attention over to where it is. And you look over and you see a lighter armored guard like rushing up, like running up to where they are.
He'll step aside, so I'll leave this one to you, boss.
You step aside, and he's kind of like, as you like take that step back, the one that was kind of like eyeing you, like mean bugging you, takes another step forward. So you're kind of like to his side now, like you are now dismissed, sort of body language. Mm-hmm. And the person comes running up, they come up, hey, word, there was an incident. There might be someone trying to escape the city. They're covered in glitter, but that might be gone by now. So they look small, but it might be a spell, temporary. Someone's trying to leave the city. And then he looks over at you.
Chris will give the man a winning smile.
They said, as he's kind of like looking at you and looking back at the people that are set here, they said, nobody in or out. And anybody that tries, arrest him on the spot.
His winning smile falters slightly.
Hang on.
Do you say or do anything?
Well, I'd love to say I told you so, but I suppose I will go and find my way to the nearest tavern.
One of the guard that you were speaking to originally, the one that was a bit nicer, was like, "Why'd you come over this way again?" And as you give your response, roll a diplomacy check.
You ever been in a tavern and there's like a proper bar brawl going on? Great fun to watch. Not that I want to see you boys get hurt, but I thought there might be something, exciting going on over here. And where there's excitement, there's gold to be made.
I mean, that's not even a bluff check because they have every reason to believe you. It's just a matter of convincing them to let you go because they were annoyed by you. Are you happy with your 14 diplomacy in this scenario, knowing that its baseline is either a 10 or a 15 or a 20 plus charisma modifier?
Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah, let's roll luck on that one.
I'm not hugely pleased, but I would rather not roll a lot. But I can't really afford to be arrested right now.
Yeah, no, there we go. Okay,
that was solid. That's really good.
I need. Yeah, you can't be arrested because then that makes things 10 times harder.
Because it's probably like a 15 DC because they're not really happy with me or something like
That's
that.
what I was thinking. Yeah.
So 15, probably 15 plus charisma modifier, right?
Yeah.
Either way. So anyways, they turn to you like, well, why don't you go find your excitement somewhere else, friend?
Yep. Nothing exciting going on here.
And you turn and you're like, "Oop," and walk out of there.
Yeah.
I could have taken all 4 of them. So in Pound Town. So you make your way back over towards where it was you originally came from, because obviously you're now more interested in what it is that the hounds are doing.
Yeah.
Viggo, however, returned to his office and is starting to continue with his love story. Poor Jake. In case you're here and you're wondering why there's a mustache and a mushroom, the PC that currently plays that, him and his 2 little ones have COVID at the moment, so they're just getting through it. They're working through it. So
send them thoughts and prayers.
No, this isn't America. He's Australian. They don't do thoughts and prayers.
Send them a tinny and some bush tucker.
I thought it was
that
Vegemite.
was
Is that what it was?
designed. That was designed to trick a test. Don't worry.
Yeah, I realized.
So anyways, continuing on. So you make your way back to where that area is, which is easy to do. You've gone to and from enough times. Easy to navigate your way back there. Same as before, though you know where you're looking because you obviously want to see what's going on with the hounds or whatever. Could you go ahead and roll me a perception check?
This is going to be a 1, isn't it? Yeah, not
Close
great.
enough. You try to find out where the hounds are and how it is they're trying to sniff things out, but unfortunately, you aren't able to either see them because of positioning or because you're held back from getting to certain areas, and enough people have crowded around those areas, you aren't able to see over through or push your way through enough in the crowds to see kind of like where the hounds are getting started.
That's a difficult one. That is a difficult one.
The whole while, you still have people talking about in the area about the explosions and whatnot that they saw, the light show and how crazy it was, etc., etc., etc.
Of
Don't worry,
course.
Tesh, we'll get to you soon.
I'm okay with waiting. I can prolong my life.
I think
You have
in
no
that
idea,
case,
so.
in that case, my best chance is probably to go and get Karok so that I can move very quickly if needs be, and wait until I hear rumors / patrol the inside of the wall. Like, because I know that Galen can climb. If the gates are closed, his only way out will be to climb out, unless he goes into the sewers, in which case he's out. There's nothing I can do to help him. In which case, knowing where this occurred, where's the nearest piece of wall that would be a climbable escape route for Galen?
So that was, remember how we said during the daytime over here versus during the nighttime over there? From what you understand, where he pointed towards or near to that, where he pointed towards, like that general direction, was where a gate was to get in and out during the day. They just close it at nighttime. But also, if you, as the crow flies, a bit of wall near enough to that would be even closer. You know, let's say to the east of wherever that was, by, you know, a smidge. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
over to the other direction where the guard had originally pointed, which would be pretty easy to refine that orientation because you're back to where the guard originally gestured. What's up, Tash?
Oh no, I'll wait till it's my turn
Okay.
because I have an idea. I have an idea.
I guess I'd have to try that, because at this point I am legitimately worried that Galen is being tracked by something not quite right.
So, did you say you're going to go and try to find Carrick first? So when you go to the stable where Carrick is, which just takes more time, walking all the way across the city to that first gate, walking all the way back, try to figure out information, look around over there, hearing some rumors. This all takes a long time. And I don't mean like 20 minutes. I mean like this has already been a couple hours, right? To go all the way over there back, try to look around. And this has been a hair over 2 hours by the time you get to the stables themselves where Carrick is. Because again, it's through the city again. So you go to wherever it is that Carrick is stabled, and you get there, and the doors are, of course, shut up and locked or whatever it is. But that doesn't stop you from being able to knock or pound on the door, right? So you go walking up to it, and I imagine you give it a sharp but, you know, respectful knock at first. Several moments pass without anybody answering. Do you go for a second knock?
Yeah.
Like literally as you're knocking the door that second time, somebody it kind of hollers through, I'm coming. Jeez, in the name of the martyr. And opens up the door to for you standing there. And you see a stable boy, or as I say, stable hand there, looking like they've just awoken. You can literally see like straw sticking out of the side of their hair. You see little impressions of straw, whatever, on the side of their face. You know what I mean? Is that they have a little bit of stubble that they can grow on their face at this point, and there's definitely some dried saliva inside of it. You know what I mean? They're looking at you like they wish you would just, you know, get struck by lightning or something. And they're like, yeah.
He'll reach into his coin pouch and pull out a silver coin and say, I need to take Karok out for a bit. For your trouble.
You go to hand him the silver coin, and he goes, listen, friend, stables aren't open till the morning. Like, listen, friend, stables ain't open till the morning.
Yeah, I understand that. But you're already up now, and it's a silver coin to be made.
He's like, I could get myself in some trouble for this.
For what? Giving me my horse.
Opening the stables in the middle of the night. I can't go losing my job over something like this.
Well, I don't want you to lose your job, but why would you lose your job?
Opening.
It's only to get my horse out. It's my horse, isn't it? You're not giving me my horse.
I mean, I am in the morning.
Yeah, but it's my horse now. Not in the morning. It's still my horse in the morning, but it's my horse now.
Hey, listen, I was told you don't open in the middle of the night.
Right. But what if I say you do open in the middle of the night?
I say good day. And he starts going to slowly shut, like, because you know, barn door is the top half, right? He starts going to slowly shut that door.
He'll just put his foot in the door. He'll just say,
Well,
look,
hand.
mate.
Top half. Yeah.
Look, mate.
You can be more aggressive. Pull a dagger out and you wedge it
No,
between. Right?
no, Jesus Christ. This isn't Thronekeeper. Look, mate, my horse is very well trained, and it will kick the doors down if I tell it to. But I'd really rather just have you sort of unlock them and let me go my way. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a gold coin for the trouble. If your boss has any problems with it, show him the gold coin. He'll be pleased.
A gold and a silver? You got a deal.
The silver's for you, not for the boss.
He nods and he says, yeah, the other one's for the boss.
Only if he finds out.
He nods. He holds his hand out expectantly. You grab a dagger through it.
Holds his hand out expectantly. I grab his hand and crush
We're
his
not
finger.
regicide.
I will give him the gold and silver coin.
Okay.
He's got hustle. He's got hustle.
He opens the bottom thing. At this point in time, as he's talking, he realizes there's get the dried saliva there and starts trying to like rub it off. You know, he's like one of those. We've all
Hate
been
that
there.
feeling.
We've all woken up with a wet pillow before, okay? For different reasons for Neil, but still, it was a really good body pillow. It's okay. It's cool. I don't blame you. No judgment. Chloe
Speaking
sent
of
me a
which,
picture of it. That's a sexy
Jo-
body pillow.
Josh is in chat. Oh my god.
See,
Hey.
Josh is my body pillow. So, all right. So,
He's reading a text. You can tell it's very difficult reading.
yeah.
oh, sorry. My wife just sent me a text from my daughter's school.
Oh yeah, because of the whole power thingy. So fair enough.
You got a power outage as well? Oh no, Josh, don't leave.
I'm going to use this quick moment. I drank far too much iced coffee, and I will be right back real quick.
In fact, Josh, I don't know whether you noticed, but there's a mushroom and pink mustache space with your name on it. You know, if you wanted to like come and role play with me.
So, yeah, my daughter's school has no power, and it's just an email from the teacher who is able to email from her cell phone saying that the school has no power, but they currently have the kids inside the hallways where the emergency lighting is, and they're giving the kids like breakfast over there, and they're playing some games with them or whatever it is, so waiting to see if the power comes back online. It's like, we could get the kids back. Do you want us parents to come and collect our? No, just keep them in the hallways. I mean, my daughter's fine, but some of those kids are like demons on crack. Like, do you really want to watch them in the hallways? Like, oh man. Oh well. Hey, Josh, guess what? I get power.
Oh yeah, we were. Josh disappeared from a Zoom call because of the power dropout earlier this week, and he was like, "What's that? What's that?" He like froze like that. It was amazing.
Oh, no. It's awesome. My backyard, I saw it this morning. It's just covered in tree, and I don't mean like, oh, Scott, it's the autumn. You got a couple of leaves falling on. No. I mean like all like the small branches on the trees have completely like my yard is just covered in branchy, twiggy tree everywhere. It's just completely covered. I'm like, oh boy, I'm doing cleanup this weekend. But back to the game. So you sir are you grab your horse out, no problem. He helps you go and get it. Helps you get the saddle or whatever put onto the horse. At least gets stuff for you and everything. Goes and gets a nice little like you can go see. He goes to get something because the horse is being disrupted in the middle of the night. Horses like to sleep too. You can actually see that he goes out of his way to like hand select like a nice apple, like puts 2 or 3 down before he grabs a nice one.
Aww.
He comes over and gives a good apple to the horse. And as he gives it some scritches on like the side of its, over behind its jawline, he says, I gotta say, I like this horse. It started biting at first until you just let it know that it's loved. It doesn't like people that are nervous. It likes people that are confident. I reek in confidence. It likes me.
Yeah, you keep that, buddy. What was your name?
My name's Neil.
Okay. I should have seen that one coming.
Yeah.
I was like, huh, Scott will love this. What's your name? Scott's like, Neil.
Uno Reverse.
I mean, at least it's not Ezek, right? Well, you stay confident, buddy, and fingers crossed. We'll see you later on when we get Caracal stabled up. And
could you just do me a favor, real quick? Can you go ahead and roll me a perception check?
Sure. Thanks for the coffee, huh? Love you too.
Oh, Scotland.
That was nearly terrible and then was pretty good.
Nico, if you live in Scotland, I'll have you know that is my new Scotch bar right there. I just threw away my old one. It's filled with well, not filled with, but it has, I think, 10 different types of Scotch. Give me 1 second. Nice.
Oh my god.
Can I actually, Nico in chat?
I have an idea what that is.
Nico in chat, if you want to type in !D8, I would truly appreciate it.
Let me do it in quotes.
Oh my god, no. Is this like a contributing success thing? I see you looking through my character sheet, Scott. What are you doing?
I did nothing.
Oh, you did.
So
Cool.
since
Stay out of my-
so since there's only 6 there, eventually you're going to realize you have no more gold in your bag.
He stole my gold?
He pocketed you while you were putting the bit and bridle on your horse. Mm-hmm. You don't know that, though.
How much
I
gold
don't
did
know
you
that.
have?
I just have to tell you because I'll forget in the future when you go to check
I
your
had
gold.
6 gold. I had 6
Okay,
gold.
that's not
Not
too bad.
I'm a lawful good
good.
man, but
But you have no idea.
I will though.
No, you won't.
I
You'll know that
I
you've
will.
never
When it
seen you walk
happens.
through crowds.
Yeah.
That's all you know.
can't believe that.
Unless
What
we
a-
locate object on your gold, I don't think
What a
we have
monster.
a way of knowing that.
I'm going to break each one of his fingers
Individually.
until he repents.
But like not all at once, like several minutes between, so he could feel the sharp pain each time. It's not like his whole hand goes numb with shock.
Yeah, no,
That
no.
fucker has
When I
a
say until he
really-
repents, I mean like I need 10 repentances.
That fucker has a really good sleight of hand. He has as good sleight of hand as I do.
+6 is easy. If you have a +2 dexterity, 1 rank, and it's a class skill, boom, +6.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's
Yeah,
class.
why does he have a class skill?
Well, you can have class skills in all sorts of things. If you're an
You're
expert,
telling me that this
if you're an
stable
expert,
hand
you have
is
10
That was-
class
FP?
skills. If you're a level
That
1
was all
expert,
an act. That was all an act. The whole thing was to make you think less of him so he could pickpocket you.
I mean, I was quite nice to him actually. I
are you
thought.
telling me that Neil is a conniving dick? Like, who would ever think such a thing? All right, so
Wow.
let's keep going. You make your way on Carrick, joking whatnot aside, back to Tesh, right? You get on your horse, you start riding in that direction. Not super fast. You don't want to draw attention to yourself, but a little bit of a trot, right? Trying to make your way over there to make sure that you can actually start looking for your friend. At this point in time, I actually bring the focus over to where Tesh is. Tesh, you hit that ground and you hit it with a bit of an oomph, right? It was a 30-foot drop. You're able to ignore 20 feet of the drop with a really high acrobatics check, but you instantly hit with a bit of an oof, where you can almost imagine like snow falling off of you, like a bunch of glitter kind of like falls off of you as you hit that ground with a tumble to the grounds, leaving the ground around you glittering for a moment. You looked over, giving a knowing look and a nod to Viggo, and then you turn and you start booking it as quickly as you can up an alleyway. As you see a couple of guards coming up the opposite way of the alleyway, having seen an explosion happening in the sky and curious as to what it was, you immediately turn to the building that was next to you, and because you have a climb speed at the moment, you give a quick jump, you grab onto that building, you climb up it like an ape up trees. Like it was so fast, right? Anyways, like an ape up trees, hop onto that roof, you dart across that roof and easily clear it from the edge of that roof over to the one, not another aisle over. And then you do another tumble off that roof to the ground. Again, you easily hit 15s on your acrobatics checks without you trying to be stealthy. That happens for you automatically. So 10-foot drops mean nothing to you, right?
Yeah, I actually can't. I have plus 24 if I'm jumping it with a running start, which everything at the moment is running.
So if you roll 6 or higher, it's a 75% chance that even at a 20-foot drop, you take no damage, right? So anyways, you are able to clear over a couple of like lanes or streets and then drop down into the street and keep running. Eventually, you start to feel yourself slow down. You're like, shit. As you immediately turn to dart down an alleyway covered in glitter, right? And as you turn going down the alleyway, all of a sudden you feel yourself like, oh, get even slower and your strength regains, but you feel yourself starting to be a little less nimble. Excuse me for a second.
Yep, let me...
You're standing in that alleyway, glittering as a medium-sized person again, looking down at yourself like, shit, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You take a couple of extra moments trying to kind of like put your thoughts together. You don't know the spell that was cast on you, correct? We had already done an Arcana check or whatever it was, or spellcraft, and you weren't able to identify it.
I don't think I did anything like that. There wasn't any check because I was just running.
Do you have ranks in spellcraft?
No, I don't think I do.
If you have even one rank, I'll allow you to take a moment to now.
Nope, not even one.
Okay. So, you coming up, stopping in this alleyway, thinking to yourself, I got to get myself out of here. But unfortunately, you are covered in glittery stuff in an alleyway that you know eventually is going to be looked into. What's your plan from here?
We've all been there.
Okay. So, I have a couple questions because I have lived in this city before. So, the questions are a couple questions. First of all, the river is running through the town, right? Or is it next to the town?
Sorry, let me just remember the town that you're in. It runs next to the town. Like there's a little bit of town on the other side where there's like warehouses and whatnot that are over there. But for the most part, and that's going to be for like temp storage, for like stop off locations. But mostly it rides to like 90% of the city is on one side of the river, 10% is on the other. You know what I'm saying?
That's okay. That's fine. Just to get to the river, I'd have to go over the walls.
No, there's no walls where the river is. Mm-mm.
Perfect. Okay. So that's one plan that I need to think of. Another plan is, do I know of any areas, either two things, areas that I can, that might be a little bit more shady that I could try and get away in, or do I know of an entrance?
Everything's shady.
Or do I know of an entrance to the sewers near the entrance we took in?
You memorized
like
that
we
map.
Found.
It's just a matter of where you are in the city to find that. So, that's either a knowledge local, you can roll that for, or that is a survival check to kind of like orient yourself on the map.
So this is just so I can sort of, I'll do.
And for those of you that don't know,
he's
he's a psionic character. He has something called auto-hypnosis that allows him to flat memorize the images or words perfectly. So that's how he's memorized a map, which is something that a typical human would struggle with. Go ahead, sir.
So that's what I got. So
are you satisfied with the 13, or do you want to modify that?
I'll modify it because if I can find an entrance close to that's my easiest way out of here. Oh, of course it's 1. That's okay. So my two biggest plans, I think, are the sewers or the river, because I can quickly adapt to breathe underwater and swim speed.
Okay. So you don't know exactly where the nearest entrance to you is. However, you do know that if you go to the more main roads, like the bigger streets that run down to, because you have to imagine it's always a slope that goes down to where the river is, right? So if you go to the more main streets that go through there, you're going to be able to find those sewer grates, the storm runoff areas. But also on the main streets, you're going to be able to find where those entrances are, like those gated entrances to go in and out of. Now, granted, those gated entrances are locked. There's going to be like a chain and padlock situation, or one of the actual like gates that have like a lock, kind of a locking mechanism built into it to open. I don't know if you have a disabled device or a means of getting through it, but those gates, if they're chain locked shut, you could actually get them, kind of like shake them and get them open enough that, especially as a small sized creature, you can escape artist through. Like
alas, I'm not small anymore.
I'm aware. A medium sized person of very high DC might be able to get their way through, because what you could do is you can, in theory, kind of like pull them open a bit and go up and over the top as they're pulled, but that's going to be difficult and uncomfortable.
Okay. Then I think probably one of my best bet is river, because what I want to do is essentially, I know people are going to see me jumping into the river because I imagine that's not an unpopulated place. But if I can run and jump one direction and then immediately turn around and like use the slight camouflage my armor gives me, and the fact that I'm breathing underwater, to then stealth the other direction.
Well, river flows a direction, right? So I don't know if you're suggesting you want to go to, let's say the river flows south, go to the south part of the city and dive southwards, like diagonally dive southwards. So it looks like you're swimming with the current, but then go underwater and swim against the current.
That's exactly what I wanted to do.
Gotcha. I understand that entirely. Sure. So you want to try to make your way over to the river without getting noticed, and specifically go to the half of the river, the half of the part of it that meets up with the river that goes with the flow of it. Morning, Shinny. How are you? And hey, Kira. Kiri, sorry. So, Kira. Yeah, Kira. So anyways, you are making your way to the river area. So you're glittery, you're medium sized, and you're no longer expeditiously retreated. So what are you going to do to bring yourself over there? Do you want to just like try to stick to alleyways, stealth checks? Do you want to try to go to the sewers to be out of sight? Well, what's the plan here?
I think I know the sewers are very dangerous. And I don't know how much longer this glitter is going to last, if it's going to last, if it's going to be permanent or not. I think at the moment, until this glitter wears off, my advantage is still speed, because I am still fast. Even with expeditious retreat off, I can... Actually, you know what? Because it's a swift action to switch back, I'm going to switch... use a swift action to switch to speed ×2, and actually I can do speed ×3 and remove climb for now, and then I can switch back to it if I need it with a swift action.
So that brings your speed from a base of 30 to a base of 45?
No, it was 45 before, now it's 55. This is the maximum speed I can get from augments.
Gotcha. Okay. I know they do stack with themselves. It's one of the perks of having the style that you are. Cool.
But because I did look it up, the astral skin does count as 2 stacks, so I can only have 3 more on top of that. So this is the maximum amount of stacks I can have.
Yep. Same with a couple of the other features they cap out. All right, so you, sir, you were making your way through the city, but are you trying to be stealthy with it, or are you just saying, I'm just going to run down the streets?
While I have this glitter on, I'm very much not stealthy. And I think, unfortunately, until that wears off, my advantage is being fast and having people be like, what the fuck? Rather than having a chance to register what's happening.
So it's going to be like one of those nights when I was in my early 20s walking through Providence, and all of a sudden I see like a dude run by wearing nothing but like what looks like a pleather bikini bottom with like glitter and like wings on them, and they just go running down the street alone, and you're just like...
So
do you, but like, where's your friends at?
So as a reminder, what I currently look like is not my crystal astral suit. It's like the proper like I want to say Black Panther style bodysuit that is just looks very sort of like it
wearing a
looks
skin tight
line,
suit?
but like it's very much just perfectly smooth, huh?
Neil, don't forget,
You
he's
wearing
very
a-
hard.
You wearing a skin tight suit?
No,
I'm wearing a suit like the Black Panther suit style thing, yeah.
he's crystalline.
And
Yeah.
it's just it's
Oh,
dark, really deep.
I didn't
blue.
tell you, Jay. I was referring to Neil, not this Neil, but your cousin. Just kidding.
Yeah,
it wasn't
so
Neil, but you can
I look
totally
like
see
that.
him doing that.
Covered in glitter, moving at 55 feet. Actually, more because if I'm running, I'm doing 220 feet per 6 seconds.
That's insane.
Just woo!
So anyways, so he's moving quickly, darting down the lane, and these streets aren't crazy populated because it's the middle of the night. And those that are awake are mostly off watching the situation that's happening, especially since it was a crack of lightning and an
stealing
explosion.
from innocent, good people.
You wake me up in the middle of the night, I'm gonna pick your pocket.
He's not talking about the same pocket that stable hand picked.
Oh, of course, but it would be a hand. It would be stable. So, you, sir, are running down the streets, glittering like a mofo. Literally, flecks of glitter kind of like coming off the backside of you as you're running. The few people that you run past are often drunk, and they're like, "What the?" As they see you go by. Luckily for you, another 44 rounds. What's that? 24 seconds goes by of you bolting full speed like this. And as you're running, eventually you kind of like look and you realize it's almost like you slow down for a second so you don't trip over anything on the cobblestone as you're looking at your hand and realizing, yes. This is where I imagine your character starts to slow down a bit and be a bit more cautious of how he's making his way down to the docks area.
Now I would stealth, yeah.
Eventually, you make your way down to the docks area, and you're gonna kind of like pull it up short. Roll me a stealth check as you're and a perception check as you're kind of like taking in the spots.
Here we go. Oh, it's not terrible, but not good. And that's much better perception. I'm gonna luck the stealth because I have 2 dice left. Hey, that's more like it.
That's pretty solid.
19.
You pull up short of the docks, one of the last buildings right before you get there, and you stop and you take like a look. It's kind of like taking the area. There are dock workers. There are boats sitting inside, tethered up, having things removed or put onto them, so on and so forth. But nowhere near as much as during the daytime. This is important because while dock workers will work overnight, very few of them will comparatively, because without the bright light of the sun to guide your work, it's very, very dangerous. If you slip and fall and have like a crate fall on you or fall into the water and people can't find you to help you, if it's a particularly brisk, like, you're just gone. So not many people are going to work in the middle of the night over at the docks because they don't have electric lighting to keep things properly lit in the area, right? So that being said, you kind of like pull up short by a couple buildings, looking out in the area, kind of like taking where people are diagonally across the street that you're on to another little hold up spot. You can imagine almost like the, what do you call those things in old cities, especially like old port cities? The little alcove, like a building, like there's a building, but then there's like a little inlet to like before you get to the actual door to walk in. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
It's
I
like
don't
the
know what it's
alcove
called.
at the front door of a building, right?
Well, another thing to note, which is now that I am actively trying to stealth.
You mean a porch?
No, it's not a house.
No, it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, it's like an
I know
alcove.
what he means.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're
It's not
called.
technically a porch, but a porch is close enough to.
Like one of the things
to
I
get
loved
an
about
idea.
when I lived in Portland is when we were in Portland, which is older than our country, right? When I lived in Portland, if it was raining out and you're like, wait, where am I going again? You like pull into almost any building down by the port.
Yeah, it has a
You
little,
could just like step
yeah.
inside there and get away from the rain for a second. Usually somebody was standing there smoking, which is gross. But you could take a moment to reorient yourself. Anyways, continuing.
So yeah, I wanted to add, now that I'm actively stealthing, the suit is changing color to whatever I'm leaning up against to sort of help me stealth.
All of a sudden you're that like orangish reddish color of brick. You know what I mean? And you are a ginger, huh? So anyways, listen, for a moment you have no soul. It's okay. We'll call you Rayrid in this scene. So you You are leading up against it, really taking in the sights, and you're able to see, while there are a number of dock workers there, and while there are a number of guards that are there, the thing that you really pick up with your 28 perception is looking up the street. You can actually see there's a good number of soldiers starting to walk down the street. Like, yeah, there's a couple of guards over ahead of you. Looks like maybe, 3 or 4 guards in the entire dock area. But, like talking to other people or, looking really tired or whatever it is. They're not really paying attention. It's one of those things where a basic stealth would probably get you past them. But, like, you hear, like, a bit of calamity, looking back the other way, looking up the street, and you notice, oh, there is a considerable number of soldiers walking in this direction.
So it's now or never. I think is what that means.
No, not a patio. I can't remember the name. I think it's literally called an alcove, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's just literally named different. Well, it's like the edge of the building, and then it goes in. It's not an extension from the building. It's literally the building, and then it goes in, and then there's the front door.
Anyways, continue going.
So yeah, it's basically like a now or never situation, is what you're trying to say.
Well, it seems like that might be the case at the very least.
Yeah. Okay, then I would like to do what I planned. Go up to the edge and dive in. Even if no one sees me, that's fine. That works out even better, because then I'm just going to stealth and swim back the other way and wait for a moment to get out the other end, essentially.
Sure. So you're going to do exactly that, kind of like make your way that direction. I was literally here the other day. I'm going to take a screenshot and post this over in spoilers chat. Granted, this has stairs. You don't always have stairs. This particular one does, because of the shape of the city here. This is a picture of from the old port in Portland, but not the cobblestone area. Where's spoilers chat? Spoiler. Just because it's bothering me. Little inlets like this.
It's bothering everyone, Scott.
Yeah, because it's distracting from the campaign.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you, sir, are going to, like you said, stealthy mode, and go start heading that direction. Roll me your stealth check.
Come on.
Oh, you literally.
That was almost amazing. That's still good.
It's usually not stairs, but...
I'm not gonna use it now because I'm not gonna use look dice now because I may need them on the next one. And this is the point where if someone sees me, it's still okay, because that was like the plan. If worst case scenario, someone sees me, they'll see me diving out of the city with the flow of the river.
Okay. So you start making your way down there. Again, there's guards coming up the street, like a considerable number of soldiers, I should say, coming up the street, but you're still ahead of them. So with your 16, you're able to slip past the lazy-looking guards that are in that area, and making your way over to the docks. Now, I imagine you actually want to go towards one of the docks that are along the edge, along the rim, or whatever it is. Nobody seems to notice you as you are making your way onto the actual docks themselves, staying low, sticking to areas that don't quite have lamps there, so it's a little bit darker, and blending in visually, like the actual colors of your armor are blending in with the docks themselves and everything around you, and makes it so nobody's able to notice you any further. I need one last stealth check for you to get to the actual area where you want to dive in without being noticed. Last one.
Oh, hell yeah.
You crush it. By the time that the guards, the soldiers get down there, a couple of soldiers walk up to the guards, start explaining to them the situation as the other guards start to fan out. I say soldiers start to fan out and start going over to the dock areas themselves to start walking the docks, kind of keeping an eye on them, fanning out to the area around where the actual dock entrances are to see if anybody's coming or going this way, because they're clearly starting to like look for somebody that might be in the area because they've been given orders to do so. And it's not like it's instant. There's guards everywhere, right? You've had time. You ran well ahead of where these people are. You bolted it here. The fact that guards got here that fast means that they clearly saw this as being a point of concern. These people actually got here quicker than they did, to where Neil got to the other location, right? And they sent a runner over there. Moving on.
Yeah.
So they start fanning out, but it's too late. You go to exactly where you want to, and you swan dive right in.
And then immediately, swift action, standard action, like, because I don't want to use my move action. My move action.
I just need a swim check for you. You could take a 10 if you would like, and don't forget to modify your skill with the +8 because now you have a swim speed. Because you are swimming upriver.
That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
I can
choose
even
to
actually
take a
keep
10 if
one
you
of
want.
my speeds. Sorry, I'm just trying to.
That's fine.
First, I have to manage my swap over stuff. Swim speed. There we go. So +8 was it? Where's swim? Where's swim? Where's swim? Swim. Oh, perfect. It's +8, right? Is that correct, Scott?
+8 for you having a swim speed. Yes.
And if I take a 10, that gives me a 24. I think I want to take a 10.
You would take it a 10 gives you a 24. Yep, that's all. Oh, you have a +24?
No, +14.
Okay, cool. Yep, that gives you a 24. 24 is enough to swim up the current. Granted, not like a fish up the current, but absolutely you can swim up
I'm
the
not
current.
trying to go fast because going too fast anyway might draw attention.
Did you give yourself water breathing as well?
Yes, I did. Underwater
My
breathing and
gosh.
swim speed.
Roll me a perception check.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
I know this sounds funny. Can I get Shinny? Roll me a D100. Viking, roll me a D10. And Nico, roll me a D8 again.
Interesting.
You find as you're swimming along there, if you choose to collect them, because there's no rush at this point, 48 copper coins, 2 gold pieces.
You know what? Might as well.
Flipping coins into waterways has been a popular thing for like all of history for luck. Now, some people wouldn't really do this as a gold coin. They could never afford that, but
Yeah.
others absolutely would. And whenever that D8 comes in, that's how many silver that you were able to find.
Cool.
Yeah. Literally, it's just something up like, ooh, a shiny. Ooh,
Ooh, a shiny.
shiny.
Ooh, a shiny.
Mhm.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
Absolutely. You find other rusted pieces of like equipment that have fallen into the river and kind of got stuck up. It just stayed there. It's just rusted out entirely. Yeah. I was gonna say at one point in time, you literally go by, you could find a bit of manacles chained around the ankles or whatever of legs. The rest of the body, the current is already ripped off and flown away. So it's literally the manacles and whatever's attached to them is heavy enough to keep the foot, the ankle, and the legs of a person still down there as you're going up against it. But the rest of the body, again, the current was enough pulling against the weight of the body to tear it at like the knees, and the person, whatever it was, floated down river a long ass time ago. You know what I mean? You're swimming away up there and you're seeing like all sorts of stuff like, oh, I didn't realize riverbeds were this polluted along cities. Yeah, they are. There's more stuff down there if you had time to look, but you know.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Disturbed, but not surprised. So yeah, I would want to, given with the way that the layout of the docks, I would want to swim over to like the other end of the docks, and this is where I have a choice whether I continue going out of the city or whether I try to get out there and act and like go essentially de-suit and blend into the area, sort of thing. But it would depend on what I can see from underwater.
Oh, so you can make your way a considerable distance. You can make your way a considerable distance up there. You know what I mean? Past the city if you want to, no problem. Before you come up, because you can hold your breath that entire time because you have water breathing and you have a swim speed. It's just a matter of how long you want to spend doing this. This isn't a concern. You tell me when you want to pop out. You come out there. Mile north of the city,
so
no problem.
Yeah, so I got to make the decision whether I try and stay in the city.
You've been in the water too long.
Technically, I'm encased in the crystal, so I got to make the decision whether I try and stay in the city or I add that extra little layer of suspicion and re-enter tomorrow. But if I re-enter from the opposite side, and the fact that I have left every day and re-entered, like, so the guards, that wouldn't be an unusual thing. Because remember, I was going to check that entrance for Virgil. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't be an unusual thing. It's just saying going out hunting back in, out, back in, out, back
I
in.
mean, you go out and in every day as it is. That's already a standard thing for you. So that's not a big
That's what I
concern.
mean. So it wouldn't be unusual if I came back in the morning, sort of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's fine.
Yeah.
It's
So
up to
I think I'll keep going out the thing. Yeah.
you. Neil, back to you. You go over to that wall, see where he is. You don't see him along there. Eventually make your way over to like where the that door is. That door is shut, as it always is this time of day. And there's 2 guards posted in front of it, no additional guards or anything like that. Do you like walk up to the guards on your horse?
No.
Okay.
Galen, I don't think Galen would have tried it.
Okay. Where you go?
Feel
The
bad.
only
I
thing-
informed the one person who's not here to meet me back at the hotel.
The only thing I can think to
Not
do
the
would
hotel,
be to just do a gentle patrol of this wall.
Okay.
There's nothing else I can do.
Time passes. You do a patrol. Nothing happens. Eventually, one of the guards says to you as you like walk past them, probably the first time, "Hey, this entrance is closed this time of day. You can wait till morning, or you can head over the other side of the city."
You don't know? The other one's closed up.
I heard some shit's going on. I just didn't. I have no idea what they're allowing in and out. This one's closed either way. I wait for new orders in the morning.
Yeah, apparently no one in or out.
Nods and says, "Then you're gonna have to wait till morning either way. If even then, good luck. Hope it ain't important."
Yeah. Well, just hope they got good people when it comes to sweeping up horseshit. Hey, Karok, and he pats him on the. I mean, there's no more I can do. As far as we're aware, it hasn't been caught, and I feel like Paradel would say, "Oh, we caught the criminal." It's not good to have another criminal escape after what happened in this city previously.
Right.
It's important that he is caught. Especially after they went so over the top, like lightning bolts, fireballs, like it's almost embarrassing. I guess I'll try and find Viggo for the night, see whether he knows anything.
Viggo just says, he said, meet at the tavern later. So, yeah. That's my Jake impersonation.
It was atrocious, truly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Truly.
It's fine. How about this is my better Jake impersonation. What you got? Victory Brewery. Oi, oi.
Oh God.
Team Spiders. They get
Tesh
me all
has no
upset.
words for that one.
Yeah. Look, I block him out sometimes. I think, like, legitimately, you said Tesh has no words, and I thought to myself, what did he say? Oh, I blocked it out.
I guess I would go, and I guess I've got to go stable Carrick again, haven't I? Break some poor little guy's fingers off.
I mean, you don't have to stable Carrick.
Do I not?
No.
I mean, I need to sleep. I can't just leave him outside.
Oh, so
I mean, I could.
You're gonna go crash for the evening, okay?
He would. Yeah, I don't want to be exhausted.
So you go back there, you go knocking on that door again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When somebody opens up the door, you see it's not the same person that opened it beforehand. And he goes, "Hey, this person looks fresh, like they're wide awake. Like, hey, we're closed. Can't help you."
Yeah, I need to re-stable my horse. One of your boys let me take it out earlier.
You see somebody kind of poke around the corner and goes, "Oh, hey, yeah, no, this is the one I told you about. Yeah. No, you're good. Come in. Come." He said, "Oh, you're good. Come in. Come in. Yeah, you can put it back in there."
They are planning to rob the fuck out of you.
So they open up the doors for you to go in. He says, "Hey, I've been doing my shift for the day, but he'll take care of you. You have a good night, all right? Don't worry, you can get him again in the morning if you need him."
Thanks.
Uh,
I'll see you another night, I guess.
yeah, he nods and says, "Oh, I'll be about. No, work when you get a shift. Bye." And he goes to leave. As the other one's starting to, get your horse put into the stable and helping to, but your horse goes to bite at him. He lacks confidence.
Carrick. No.
Eric's like, oh. Like when your dog really wants to chase a squirrel, you won't let them. So they just like looking at the squirrel, like look at you side eye, look at the squirrel, look at you side eye. So
Don't
anyways,
worry. He's harmless.
you stable up the horse, go to bed, crash, wake up in the morning. Cool. Moving on. Tesh, where do you go?
So this is what I was thinking. Like a character would know the area at least a bit, right? Is there a sort of foresty area nearish to the river that people would go to hunt?
Let me pull up the map for myself. Del, this map. So, Renetslav, which is the town that you're in. The closest forest is a good distance away. A good distance. We're talking,
okay. Maybe
like
not a
several
forest, but an
miles.
area that people might hunt nearby.
I mean, the area immediately around Renetslav is a bit of plains, right? So people could go in and hunt, like, say, deer or whatever that were inside the plains, any grazing animals that would be outside there, so on and so forth. I mean, there aren't really plains cats as much all the way as far west as Renetslav, but there are the occasional panthers or whatever that might mountain lions that might live over in this area. Very rarely, that occasionally people will see them and will hunt those too. Rabbits, stuff like that would be around here too.
Okay. Basically, what I want to do is I want to have something that I've hunted, then set up camp as if I've gone out to hunt. It's at night. I know now set up camp sort of thing. I'm now role playing a hunter.
So
in case anyone comes out this way.
So you just want to more or less push yourself far enough with the city, set up a camp as though you would normally set up a camp, and go lie down inside. I am here for a reason.
Yeah,
that's fine. You can absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Do not sweat it. You can absolutely do that.
Cool.
Hey, can I get Viking? You want to roll me a D4 real quick? That'd be great. Thanks, buddy.
To clarify, I definitely do want to try and hunt something first because I want it to be obvious that I have been hunting.
Survival check.
Cool.
Easily. It's one of those things where you find a spot to set up camp and you're starting to set it up. And because you're a parent, you have the ability to see well at night. And I already described that there's only a partially
I already have
cloudy
dark
sky
vision
tonight.
on at the moment.
Oh, you have
I
dark
never got
vision
rid
on
of
too.
dark vision. Yeah.
So you have low light vision would be more beneficial for seeing further. Dark vision for closer. So
actually, I would be out of suit anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You wouldn't be out of suit right now. Not while you're setting up
when
camp.
I'm setting up the camp.
Fine.
Oh well, once the camp's set up, I guess I'll be out of the suit.
So while you're setting up the camp or whatever it is, it's one of those things you're getting ready, and then because of your dark vision or whatever it is that you have going on at the moment, you look out and you see a bit of movement, and you stop and you're like, oh, well, there's a delicious looking little bunny, and so you just form a crystal and throw it over and kill the rabbit. It's a perfect neck shot. The thing kind of takes two hops, and then it takes literally 2 hops, and then flops to the side, and its legs twitching as it's bleeding out from the throat.
Oh,
and you
God.
just walk over there and are able to scoop it up by its hind legs, and its leg twitches a couple more times when you're holding it, but very quickly it passes unconscious because it bleeds out.
Yeah, and part of the reason why I've been ranking up survival is he would have, between when he was leaving Amolta and joining Paradel, he would have been living off the land sort of thing. So he would just do the usual. I don't know what you do in this situation. I assume skin and cook, but he would set it up as if it looks like that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, you just get 2 sticks that have a bit of a Y shape, shove them in the ground or whatever you could do. String up a bit of string, tie up the bunny, allow it to bleed out a little bit. You know what I mean? Like let it bleed out before you skin it. Otherwise, it's really messy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even need to skin a rabbit properly though. You just pierce the skin and you can just tear it off because it got such thin skin.
Oh, I actually don't know that. I've skinned cat before, but that's because it was in science class. So, you know, but it was in science class.
Anyway, so once I've got that all set up and I'll lay down in the camp and use this as a time to sleep.
Yep. And so it's
Which does mean if I get my 8 hours, I will be changing some augments around, just so as you know.
Yep, no problem. So you set this thing up so it's bleeding out in the morning. You can cook it or whatever. You know what I mean? You can do the work to cook it or whatever. It's not like you're super hungry at the moment anyways. You do have rations on you if need be. It's more a matter of the aesthetics than it is actual function.
Exactly.
You killed the bunny for aesthetics, you know?
No,
So-
he would eat it. He would he would have it as a
I know
meal
you're
as
going to
well.
make purpose of it, but you didn't kill it because you were hungry. You killed it for
No,
aesthetics.
that's unfortunately true.
Yeah.
He's posing on his Instagram with it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm neutral.
He's holding the bunny up. It takes.
Oh,
You monster, Scott.
wow.
Anyways, so you yeah.
Grab a drink.
So you go to set up your camp, you get everything done, you remove your armor, you probably remove your parade armor too, because sleeping in that's not very comfortable. Not to mention you don't want it to smell too bad. You do your typical quick scrub out of the inside of it, like a clean out or whatever, leave it out overnight so it dries. Probably kind of attached or hung from the same string and sticks that you have out there with the bunny. So like, air dries overnight, and you go to lie down inside the tent. I need you to go ahead and roll me a perception check with a -10.
With a -10. Oh boy. That is not good. That's a 6. I'm worried about whether I should even bother with a thing of luck.
It's up to you,
I
mate.
could reach 10, but I don't think that's -10. My God, the DC is probably going to be super high. So,
You usually with negatives, you don't also pair it with a high DC.
oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I only have a 25% chance. I think, you know what? I failed the DC. I think that's what I'm just going to accept at this point.
So you beat a 5, but you didn't beat a 10, and you didn't beat any higher. So
Yeah.
So beating a 5 means that you at least wake up before somebody touches you. But you wake up as somebody opens the flap to your tent. So wherever it is, you have a tent, right? I actually can't remember. Do you have a tent? I don't think you do, actually. I think it's Neil that has
No,
the
not
tent.
at the moment. I guess I don't have a tent.
Yeah, Neil has
no,
the tent.
because I wouldn't have the tent at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's as people are coming in your camp. We're talking they're within 10 feet of you. They've come over to you, whatever it is that they've walked up, and all of a sudden you just kind of you hear something wakes you up. It's just like your extra sense wakes you up from your sleep. It's kind of your eyes dart awake, like something's wrong. We've all woken up like that. Your eyes dart like something's wrong, and your hand kind of immediately reaches over to where your weapon is, and you turn to the side to look, and you see, yeah, there's people there. Absolutely, there's people there. This is what you see as you wake up. Your eyes dart open. You see that there are several figures there. You just woke up. You can't count out how many there is, and there's also, I don't know what that is, but an animal moving very close to you very quickly while you're lying down on the ground. Like it is moving, and you hear this almost constant draw inhale, like this sniffing noise, but it's not like dogs it goes like that. No, it's more like this almost constant draw, like a vacuum inhaling, but without being anywhere near as loud or as deep of a noise. And as it's coming towards you, and it's like right there, and it's coming up to you, and you're lying on the ground, and it's not small.
Fucking hell. Okay. Do I have any sort of read on what the people are that I see?
You just woke up a second beforehand. It's hard to get anything like that. How do you react first? And then I can give you more description.
Fucking okay.
Sorry, Viking rolled low. He let you down.
I mean,
This must be magical tracking then, right?
look,
Because the Mastiff wouldn't have
yeah.
been able to track through however many hundreds of meters of water.
So this is a hound from Eustace with a couple of guards, and that you saw, Neil, with a couple of guards and an AC gnome with them that seemed to move in a rigid, funny way. Gave you the heebies. That's all you know.
I'm fucked. I mean, no matter what happens, I'm fucked now. So I can't run. I leave all my shit and make it obvious. I can't use my ability in front of them anyway, unless I kill them all.
So do you surrender? So you wake up, look around, assess the situation, and go, nope.
I've fuck. I need to. This is a big decision. I need to. Please let me think about it for a second. I've got 10 health, Starga. I can't. I'm out of armor. I don't get armor when I suit up unless I go with one of the heavier ones. Oh, that is an option. I could, but then that's a full round action. And even then, I all they'd have to do is nuke me with spells, which I'm sure they have on them. How many people were there?
It's hard to get a quick count. Probably 5. It's hard to. Again, you woke up literally a second beforehand, and you're making the snapshot decision. You, as a PC, have time to think, but the character doesn't. But the character is also smarter than we are in real life. And more training than we have in real life. So,
what do you think, Neil? Because I don't.
It's a difficult situation. You don't necessarily know who these people are. Or actually, we don't necessarily know how this tracking
I
magic
definitely don't know
works.
who they are.
No,
I also
exactly.
don't know it's tracking magic realistically.
So, like, realistically, would you run if you're confident in your disguise?
Yeah, no, I realistically, I wouldn't probably, because I don't know that it's tracking things. I don't know this isn't like someone else, like bandits. I can give gold, like
yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Fuck. I guess he would be like, whoa, what's happening? Hold up, what? It'd like put up hands.
okay. So, whoa, what's happening? As they approach, you hear a voice say, it sounds like a gnomish voice say, whoa, friend, don't move. One of the guards will say to you, I'll handle this. We'll say to him, I'll handle this. And walks forward. They've already drawn their sword and their approach from before. And they come over and they have a bastard sword, kind of like leveled down. It's like pressed against you or anything like that. There's probably a good 6 inches between the tip of the blade and like where your chest is. And mind you, imagine you're kind of like, you're sitting up on your elbows or whatever at this point, maybe like half leaned with weight more on one side because like where your balance is so you can quickly move if need be. But a good 6 inches as he finishes his approach and levels it out to you.
As he walks over, I would just say gold pouches over there by the armor.
He scoffs at that and says, that ain't why we're here. We have reason to believe that you were just in the city.
What?
The gnome chimes in and says, listen, I'm going to just tell you right now, things can go easy, but they don't have to. You can be honest with us and we can figure this out, or you can lie and we'll figure this out.
Can I do an insight on him?
You go right ahead.
Sense motive, that's the one.
Mm-hmm. I know what you meant.
Oh, come on. Fucking.
You're getting no read off them, but you just woke up. You know what I mean? You just woke up. Your eyes are still trying to decide whether if they want to be low light vision or dark vision. You know, like.
Yeah. So this creature that's moving up on me, can I do any sort of check to see what it is?
This creature, you just see it looks like, so as you like look over and actually focus on it, it looks like a big dog, like a big dog. Now, to be clear, when I say a big dog, some dogs are actually medium-sized creatures. That's a medium-sized dog right there.
Okay, so this is where I got to make a decision whether I bluff.
Just like some cats are small-sized creatures.
Except that I'm caught, because I do have documents to explain who I am, but it would be like sorry, okay.
So the guard says, "So were you in the city or no?"
So yeah, this is where I'm going to decide whether I mean, I can say I was earlier tonight, and that wouldn't be a lie. But I don't even know what time it is. Is the sun up?
You can start as you like as you're waiting to decide your answer, because your character takes a couple of moments, like thinking, blinking, maybe even trying to buy time for himself. Maybe trying to buy time for himself, like rubbing on his eye or whatever it is. You look up to the sky and you can see it's at that pre-dawn phase where the area above your head is getting lighter, like it's becoming lighter blue. But way off to the east, you can see the colors just starting to appear. You've got another hour before proper sunrise, but obviously it's going to get significantly brighter over the course of the next like half hour to an hour.
Okay, well then I can say I was last night.
Okay.
Because I was last night. That's not a lie.
The guard says, "Let me be more specific. Are you the one we're looking for? Were you on the rooftops?"
So this is
as you once again you're buying time trying to get.
Can I read him to see whether he knows or not?
What, the guard?
The one who asked that question just then.
Whether he knows what?
Like whether this is like a he's confident he knows, or whether he's just trying to get the question.
The sheer fact that they hunted you down believes you that they're pretty confident. His tone and everything tells you that they're confident. You know what I mean? Like even with your natural one, your failure right there, that gave you zero read, but you understand that this guy seems pretty confident.
I'm gonna look to the gnome that said we can work this out, and I'll just nod.
You look to the gnome, you say we can work this out while you nod.
No, wait, no. He, as in, like, the one who said, like, if you do this, like, if you tell the truth, we can work this out. I'll look to him and nod.
Okay. All right, gotcha. So, you look to the gnome. My apologies, and you nod. You don't say we can work this out. Gotcha. So, so the gnome says, it takes a hand out of a pouch, and says, "Good, because we were able to track you over here with relative ease, friend. Now, we need to know who you are and why you are here. Who are you?"
Okay, well, given this is magic stuff and AC, unfortunately, I may have to tell the truth. This is where I got to make decisions. Fuck. And Jake isn't here, so I can't bounce off him for ideas.
Nope.
I think at this point I'm gonna.
While you're getting your stuff together, the guard looks over to one of the other guards and says, "Grab his bag, look through it for papers."
Okay. I'm gonna turn to the gnome. At this point, they have ways of figuring this shit out anyway, unfortunately. So I think this is a coming clean moment. I'm gonna just say, Galen Idravor, excellent.
You say that. The gnome nods. The guard, as the other guard is going over one of your papers when I was speaking to you beforehand. He nods and says, "All right, excellent. Where's your paperwork proving who you are?"
That's where I wish I had it separate so I didn't have to reveal the whole compartment. So this guard is not a part of the AC person stuff, right?
I mean, this
Or is
is
he with the
parallel
AC?
military. The AC is with them.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna look to the gnome from the AC. Can I'm obviously no threat anymore. You have my gear. Can I show you and not the others, given rank and situation that's going on?
To the guard that's speaking, correct?
Yeah, essentially, I want to talk. Well, actually, yeah, I can. I'll do it to the guard.
Sure.
Just to show him and not like give.
You
it
say
away
more or
to
less, can I
everyone.
have an aside?
Yeah.
He nods and he'll reach down to offer you a hand to help you up.
Okay. Cool.
Lowering
I'll
the sword,
go-
leaving it out, but lowering it to the side. He'll offer.
Yeah. No,
a hand to
I
help you
wouldn't
up.
try anything.
He says, "Where's your papers?"
So we move off to the side. I'll for the other guards because they're obviously searching my camp and stuff. I'm gonna just sort of like act like I'm kicking dirt, but click open the compartment, pull out paper, and then hand it to him.
While you're doing that, you notice that the gnome and the other guards are off to the side, kind of like going through your stuff or whatever it is. The gnome walks over to the dog and actually like taps the dog twice on the nose and whispers something inside of its ear. But the whole while has his right hand holding on to like at his side, holding on to a bit of stick, like a bit of wood that's right there. Anyways, the guard watches you. He kind of like gives a bit of a scoff as you do that. And hand him the papers. He reads them over for a moment. After he finishes reading them, he says, and he puts his sword away. He says, my name is Lieutenant Tactician. So that's LT, right?
Yep.
Petri Sago. You can call me Petri. And he hands you back your paperwork. You're a little ways away from home.
Yeah, we're looking into things, hence the incident.
He nods, says, "Listen, I understand why you're here, and it's some bullshit. Between me and you, the River King can go fuck himself. But that being said, I got to verify that you are who your paperwork says you are. You know what I'm saying?
I understand, given the
'Cause
situation.
You went somewhere you weren't supposed to be. And you saw some shit that you weren't supposed to see. And I want you to understand, whatever it was you saw, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
So orders were track you down and kill you.
Okay.
We weren't
Given the
supposed to.
circumstances.
We weren't supposed to capture you. Question, find out what you knew. Only things you knew were supposed to go to that guy over there, he says, looking over at the gnome, and then kill you. Those were the actual orders. This complicates things. So I need to verify before I report things back up and see where we're going next. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Stay right here. He walks over like the good, 20 feet or so, over to where the gnome is. And it has a couple words with the gnome. You can kind of hear him. He says, "Hey, do that spell just in case." The gnome's like, gives him kind of like a questioning look. He goes, "Listen, you need to verify some information about him." The gnome says, "We were given orders that only I am supposed to hear what he knows. I ain't asking him questions about what he knows. I'm asking him different shit. Now cast a spell, as you're told, and remember, you're in Paradel. We ain't over off and, oh, that's right. You ain't got no land, do you?" And the gnome looks at him like, Like you can see like really agitated. It's one of those local police FBI situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't give me any of that Juris my diction crap. That's a old 1999 reference. Anyways, so
I recognize it, so I probably have seen it.
Matrix. So
oh yeah, there you go.
so he oh God, I haven't seen that movie in easily 10 years. So anyways, the gnome gives him like a sharp, agitated look and walks over and starts walking around you, throwing some, various powdered stuff on the ground. You have no idea what it is.
Zone of truth.
Yeah.
Ah!
Then he goes up to the side. He pulls out a scroll and reads from the scroll to make this happen, because clearly they are not a divine caster. And it reads from the scroll to activate it and make sure that the spell actually happens. And as soon as the spell happens, you're immediately washed over with the understanding that should you try to lie, you would either A, have to fight against it, or B, they will know. You instantly are aware of this. You become keenly aware of this.
If I try to resist it, do they know? If I try to make the save
That
initially,
part,
do they know?
you don't know. You just don't have an understanding of magic well enough. But the magic is defined in such a way that you are aware of that effect, but you don't know it well enough to know whether or not they would understand you had made the save.
But now you're in the zone of truth. Just tell them that you have no ill intentions.
Yep.
Bam.
It's true. Yeah. Okay.
So as soon as it's done, the gnome and him are standing there, and you probably go to start having a reaction to this. You probably go to start saying whatever it is, beyond ooh, okay. Beyond that, before you say anything, that guard will actually hold his hand up to you, saying stop, and then he looks back at the gnome, and he says, "You're dismissed." And the gnome says, "Excuse me, I'm the one that knows whether or not he's lying, and you can call out lie from across the way. Please join the others." And the gnome once again,
this guy.
I do like this guy as well. Yeah.
Gnome narrows his eyes and looks pissed. He opens his mouth to say something and says, "Paradel." And the gnome is just very agitated, turns and walks off and says, "This will be reported." And he watches the gnome as he walks half the distance away. And then as the gnome turns off, he turns back to you and says, "Verify your name."
Galen Idrival.
Are you serving in Climë?
Yes.
Where is your nation of origin?
That would be on the stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it's on the just straight up, just Malta.
Do you understand why that makes me nervous?
Yes.
Are you serving a Malta?
No. And he will say it with as much hatred as he can muster that he actually feels. So it would very much it wouldn't trigger a lie.
Are you serving any third parties that stand outside of a Malta or Paradel?
No.
Are you serving any other parties that exist within Paradel, even identify as being Paradel? Example, extremist group.
No.
You serve...
I'm not searching. I was just trying to register in my head what he means. He means extremist group, not another area of the government sort of thing.
I just gave him a
so
name.
I can say no.
Tess just wrote down his name. Yeah.
Yeah, it is Petri Sego.
Yeah.
LT.
So, anyways, he says, you serve directly. You confirm that you serve only the Dween Hair and take orders predominantly directly from Lieutenant C. Pearl. Sorry, Commander C. Pearl.
Confirmed.
He nods, and then he steps into the circle himself. Noticing that, the gnome sharply looks up from across the way.
Now he's going to say, "I don't serve Paradel," and knife you.
Oh no! Oh no!
He then, as he steps into the circle, which by the way, you can roll sense motive on that one.
Oh yeah, actually. Oof. I'm noticeably heart rate elevated, adrenaline running, still waking up. It's not too bad, but it's not good.
So you look at him and you understand that the reason why he's probably doing this is because he's probably trying to gain your trust. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He wants you to understand that he's here with you, right? Give me 1 second. I just have to roll one thing. Sorry, once again, because the daughter's in a situation, I keep having to check my phone. I actually got a GM roll this one because this has nothing to do with you.
Amalta sends their regards.
Okay, so
there are names he could pull that would terrify me right now.
He steps in and he says, "Are you at liberty to disclose why you're here?"
Meta-wise, no, right?
Actually, you are if you need to.
Oh, okay. Then I would say I am if I need to.
He nods, says, "Should I be concerned as to why you're here?"
No, because I mean no, and that's truthfully, no.
Do you understand the full purpose as to why you're here? And I don't mean the purpose you were given. I mean the reason behind it. Because,
I do.
The River King's a cuck.
Yeah, the River King does want to take this place. That's the reason behind the reason. Yes.
You say yes?
Yes.
He actually stops and scratches his beard and says, "Should I be concerned about what you saw?"
So he would take a second to think, and all I really saw were methods of deconstruction that would be the AC probably wouldn't want people to know, but it's not dangerous per se to anyone outside of the area. It's why they move people out of the areas. So he would make it clear that he is thinking for a second to make sure, like, it, really think it over. And no, I don't think you need to be concerned.
Should I anything more you want to offer to that, or do you think I should keep this? The less I know, the better. And this is like one of those soldier to soldier. You know how brass is,
Yeah. So given he's trusted me as much as he has, I'm gonna say I don't want to put the knowledge of what it is onto him. So I'm gonna say I don't want to put the burden of knowing on and risking you with the AC. I will simply say I don't think there's anything for you to worry about. Trade secrets.
He gives like a head nod over towards the gnome and says, "That's something that worries me."
I mean, okay, so I think I'd actually ask him. I don't think anything they were doing would be dangerous. They cleared people out of the area. Why would you say that with the given the gesture? What do you mean?
AC is involved. You know shit about the AC?
So this is a good point. I guess I would know. I would know boogeyman stories of the AC, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you were raised to believe the AC was evil.
Yeah.
Like you're from a Malta. AC is what goes bump in the night. Well,
so I'm gonna
that and your uncle
here.
with mom,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would honestly say I've definitely heard some things, but it's hard to say what given where I was raised.
He goes, "Oh yeah, a Malta."
I'll just nod back.
He goes, "You know how we found you?"
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to assume the big dog thing.
Yeah, it could smell you.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It was once a person.
Dogs can smell. Dogs can smell people, right? As far as I've been told, this thing smells the magic on you.
Interesting.
Ain't no one else hit by a ball of fire or a bolt of lightning. And each of those have their own
look down
unique...
at the burns and be like, fair.
It could smell that. One sniff, I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. One sniff of the wand, and it knew what it was looking for.
Wow. So I'm going to reply honestly. That's pretty terrifying.
He nods. Yeah, I've been assigned to that thing for a month now. You know, that thing doesn't sleep.
Oh.
I swear, I've seen...
He gives a glance back at it like, okay, that's more worrying.
I've never seen it blink, and I swear to you, I don't think it breathes.
Well, that's disturbing.
Nods slowly.
Well done for lasting a month.
Yeah, hopefully it's almost over. Listen, what the hell are you doing here? What were you doing? Why were you up on those roofs? Why are you trying to do this?
I'm going to be honest and say, investigating the. I don't want to. I don't want to say the assassination exactly. The wording would be investigating everything regarding the coronation.
You just made things different. Like, as it is, you're supposed to be dead as soon as I'm done questioning you. I have respect for you. You're serving your Climë. You're trying to join the nation. I get it. You know, my father served in Climë. That's why I'm here. I get it. But it's one of those... Now I have to write up to the boss, who's probably going to have to send word over to Dwayne. It's going to suck if you still have to die at the end of this. That shit's going to weigh on my conscience.
Interesting. So this is out of character. I'm thinking whether if I give him the sewers thing as a, like, hey, here's some information I found that may help you guys with defending. You know what? I will give that, because that's not our major lead at the moment, and they can make sure they guard the entrances around the coronation. So yeah, I'm going to say I can make it a bit easier. I think I can give some information that might help with protecting the coronation.
Oh, do you just trust this guy? He's in a zone of truth. Confirm this boy.
He says, he says for a second, he goes, so you're trying to make yourself more valuable?
Trying to prove I'm an ally, not an enemy.
Oh, I know you're an ally. That's not a question in my mind.
To the higher ups.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily matter either.
Oh.
Because you know what this comes down to. It comes down to the MOW.
Do I know?
The Master of War.
Master of War, okay.
They're
The
one
person
calling the
whose
shot on
buildings
this.
are currently being destroyed by the Arcane Congress.
That's who calls the shot.
Okay. Well, hopefully, yes, make myself valuable to them then.
Nods. All right, tell me what you got.
I have reason to believe that those behind
Actually, you know what? Say it just so I can hear it, but I'm going to need you to write it down so I can deliver it. And so I imagine your character explains it out. You don't have to role play it out. You explain out like the details that you've discovered so far, specifically about the RC crew and what it was that they had done beforehand. Pretty much everything you've discovered along the way. Names and all that stuff, but you know that that's partially known too.
Yeah, specifically the sewers. I don't want to give the stuff that I got through the memory.
Yeah, you're not doing the memory. You're not doing the Red Light District part. Yeah.
Or the guard that didn't know.
Okay.
That hid stuff. But
What about- What about the bit with the prison in the swamp?
Oh no, I'm only doing stuff that I found here now.
Okay.
Like on the way in, so on and so forth. I get that. So after you're done saying all that stuff, Downey goes, all right, good. I'm gonna have you write that down for me. Is there anything else about it?
So give the entrances that would be around the coronation. Tell them that most of them are locked up, but just in case, probably good to.
But he says, is there
postcards.
anything else?
Oh, anything else that I've found out?
He nods.
One. I guess I can give him maybe an area they ran from. So I have to be honest here because I didn't do the save thing. So if there's anything else, so I'm thinking of wording because I want to word it in such a way that it's not a lie. It's not going to ping off anything, and I don't want him to keep going. Anything else?
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things that's like, oh yeah. There was also,
yeah, and I'll give him the red light district, and that's why I was in the area. The fact that was where the combat with one of them happened, I believe.
And roll me a bluff check. I'll give you a +4. He has every reason to. Is it 4? No, it's a +5. He has every reason to believe you.
Okay. Oop. Hey.
It's pretty freaking solid. I'm gonna go ahead and roll mine. This is just a GM roll. He's obviously good. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's obviously good at this stuff, so he's got a pretty decent modifier. But I likely will not hit you.
Oh.
Oh shit. Okay. Do you want to luck your roll?
Yes, because I know you're gonna luck yours. Okay, here we go. Oh no.
Oh,
I got a 31, you got a 30.
Oh, I could have used Winifred's. Fuck, I should have used Winifred's.
So he nods and says, you write that all down for me.
Okay. I will
is he
write it
loading
down.
the revolver as he says this?
Oh, not yet. He says, write that all down for me.
I would write it all down.
Okay.
I assume he would
Provide for you, whatever it is. Yeah. Yep.
He took me away from
You
the
got a
camp.
book in one hand, the paper on the book, and yep.
Yeah.
So, anyways, as you start writing this stuff down, he goes, "You're not hiding nothing, are you?"
So I'm gonna say so because I want to say something that's not a lie, and it's not so nothing that I'm allowed to say, because I'm not allowed to talk about the psionics, and that's everything I've left out.
Nothing I'm allowed to say.
Psionics.
Okay, so nothing I'm allowed to say. He thinks for a moment and he says, "What's it like serving over in Dwayne?"
I'm going to be honest, and I think Gallon would enjoy it as a change of pace, being very different, very. He would say, "I enjoy it. It's a change of pace. I actually served here for a while."
Oh, that's I don't know you. You are a long ways to be alone.
Well, I'm not.
How many?
Just 2.
Also serving the Dween here?
Yes.
I imagine one's your CO.
Yes.
I don't have you give me everything, just need their ranks.
Okay, then I will give the ranks, which is I wrote it down somewhere.
Champion and BT.
Oh, okay. Champion and BT.
Oh. So you have one under you too.
Nod, because I think that is actually how it works, even though we don't really operate that way.
Oh, I'm gonna have to break you now.
He thinks for a few moments and he goes, "All right. I think I'm done interrogating you. I hope you don't have to die. I mean that sincerely."
Me too.
And then he'll walk away so he can finish writing the letter.
Yep. And specifically, because I don't know magic, I don't know how this works. I'm going to deliberately finish writing the letter in the zone of truth, and then exit out and bring it over to him.
Okay. He reads it over, makes sure everything's in line with it, rolls it up, puts it into a scroll tube, hands it to one of the other guards. He's the lightest dressed guard of all of them. And he says, bring that to the MOW. We're going to wait here for word. And the gnome looks back at him and says, we're waiting here. And he nods
raises
and says,
his state-issued revolver and just blasts the gnomes.
He nods and says, that we are. The gnome says, we have our orders. It's very simple. He turns and walks away about like 8 feet or so, holding out his hand and saying a couple of words and like waving his hand back and forth, and ends the wave with like a big scooping motion with his hand. And you literally just watch the ground in front of him gets kind of like wavy, kind of like somebody dropped a pebble in a pond in like 2 different spots of a pond at the same time. And then a whole bunch of the earth literally scoops out all at once and leaves a pile next to a hole in the ground. And he goes, it's that simple.
Wow. And then the officer says, it is, and raises his revolver.
Just mute yourself. This isn't New Vegas, okay? Anyways, origin story of last night. No. So
I'll send it over. If you want, I can step back in there and tell you I mean no harm.
The gnome ignores you. The officer walks up to the gnome and says, I'm the commander here. I give the orders. It's that simple. If you don't like the way that I'm giving the orders, take your goddamn dog and leave. You are an asset. We've used you.
I like this guy.
The gnome is just like bridling, like I could kill you 8 times before you can take a step, kind of bridling with rage. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
And
Awesome,
the gnome starts
dude.
cursing to himself and mumbling inside gnomish, which I don't think you understand. I think Viggo does though.
Glenn.
Gnomish.
Oh, Gnomish is
Glynn's hobgoblin.
Glenn, that's right. Sorry, I got them confused.
Yep. So anyways, so he so he says cursing to himself or whatever instead of gnomish. And he actually will go over and say, if you need me, I'll be studying to the side. Goes over and he actually hops up on top of the dog. Like literally like rides the dog and rides off like a good, 100 meters or so off to the side. And will settle down with the dog there. The dog will sit. And he settles down with the dog over there and we'll start using the, let's sit down and start opening up books or whatever it is to study, to do some other work. Leaving just you with the remaining 3 guards.
Yep, I will just nod towards him and say, thank you.
He shakes his head and says, wasn't for you.
Understood.
Stares off at the gnome as he's riding off and just shakes his head. And then he looks back at the hole, looks at you and says, if it bothers you, you're welcome to fill it in.
Well, if I got time to wait, I'll go and fill it in. If they've got like a shovel or something.
Yeah, the 2 other guards actually have shovels with them. You know what I mean?
I'll take it in. Start filling it in.
After a couple minutes of you doing it, one of the guards feels bad and gets a shovel and goes over there and assists you with it. You know what I mean?
I would genuinely thank him. At this point, these guys, I have a lot of respect for that guy, the LT. So these are his men. I'm gonna treat them well.
He's not even that high ranking. LT is the second. It's an O2. You know what I mean? It's a
but he's being decent. So
So the at some point in time, like as the minutes roll by, the guard will look over to you. The LT will look over to you and say, "I won't lie, curiosity is quite the burn, isn't it?"
Sorry, I unfortunately read chat and my brain turned off for a second.
He says,
I read what
he says.
Saga
Curiosity.
said.
He says, curiosity is quite the burn, isn't it?
Indeed.
It's a
And I'm
searing,
actually going to
seething
look
thing.
at. I'm going to look at the burns on my my arms and stuff. And be like, indeed.
Yep. And he just kind of, sits there. He knows that he can ask you for details, but he chooses not to. And he's kind of, you can see he scratches the back of his head and just lets it go. Gets up and paces, waiting for return. A couple hours pass. The sun is fully in the sky. At this point in time, likely your allies are awake and probably looking for you, right?
Yep.
Eventually, the guard is going to come back, but it'll come back trotting on a horse rather than being on foot. You know what I mean? Or like a pony or
It's
whatever it is, rather than
Triss.
being on foot.
And he raises his. Sorry.
Instead of being on foot, he walks over and like trots up to you and hops off and hands the commander again a scroll bit, looking it over. And the commander reads it over, goes back, reads another portion again, and he looks up at you and says, I have one question I have to ask you.
Understood.
Hold on, give me a second. I gotta remember a name here. Did you used to serve someone named Jen Mallis?
Okay. Given that he's said that and he's got the name, that's
You're not in
and
the zone of
given
truth
who
anymore,
he's-
anyways. But
Yeah, but given who he's running the message from, I'm gonna nod.
He packs the scroll back inside the scroll case, hands it back to the runner, and says, "Pack it up, boys. We're done here." And
Oh boy.
he goes and he hops on the pony and says, meet back at the barracks and let the wizard know where we'll be. And he gives the pony a little kick and starts trotting off out of here, giving you one last nod. Trots off out of here.
Okay. Sorry. The Petri Sago's still here, about to leave with all the men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have anything? I don't really have anything to. I assume he gave me back my documents.
Yeah, you have
some stage
everything
during
back.
all that,
He
yeah.
said, pack up, boys. We're done here. They're not taking anything of yours.
Yeah. Given how this is played out, I will actually just LT a moment. Just
You
get
say that to
aside.
him as he goes to start walking off. He'll turn,
So
he'll turn
I-
the pony back. Huh?
Yeah. So I'll of course just trying to talk to him so others can't hear. I will give him the name of the place we're staying and say if you need help, if anyone tries to interfere with the coronation and you need help, that's where I am.
He'll stop and he'll think for a second. He gestures his head off to the side to have another aside with you. As you kind of nod or whatever. The two of you walk off like a good, 10 meters or so away from where the other guards are, and they're like getting your stuff put back together, getting their stuff packed up, whatever it is. He looks down at you and says, I don't know much, but I listen. It's one of the things I do. Rumor is Jim Mallis trained some special group people. You know magic, right? Remember, you're not in the zone of truth.
nod.
You can be vague about that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll nod.
He thinks to himself, MOW knows who you are. Maybe we can switch you out for that cuck over there.
I will love, given what I know about the AC and everything else, I'll be like, maybe one day.
One day. He said he starts to lead the pony around so it's turned back the other way, but he's still sideways with you. He says,
Sooner rather than later.
He says,
but
I'm hoping today.
that would be something.
Gives the pony a kick and says, don't be surprised if you catch word from the MOW, and starts riding off.
No, thank you. And just go and start gathering up my stuff. I like
Any of
this
you have
dude.
ever
This
ride a
dude's
horse
cool.
before? You know, when they're in trot, it's a lot of up and down. I wonder if it's good for
Yeah.
your brain or not. So
Well-
slosh, 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 slosh.
In, there's, I think there's two types of trot. Your American trot, you literally just sit there and woggle about on
Yeah.
it, don't you? Whereas English riding, we do rising trot. So
was about
you
to say,
actually go
yeah.
like that in
Oh,
rhythm
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
horse.
Yeah, there's actual work to it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I mean-
but your trots, I think, I'm not an expert between the different styles. I
there,
think your
there is a
trot's
difference.
different.
You are 100%
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, they're absolutely different. The way that the horse moves, the way that you react to the horse moving, all of it, it's all very different. Like literally, hoof placement as they move, all that stuff's different. Yeah, it's really cool when you see a horse that's trained both ways, because you can see the difference, and I've had the opportunity to watch the differences between them. So
That's cool.
full gallop though is fucking cool. Full gallop is like you get like bent
Yeah,
knees.
you're-
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just more or less just go like this.
Yeah, what I love is watching the behind the scenes of movies where they try and like they try and get the shot of the gallop, which is always a fake horse attached to a car, and the person just fucking going for it.
You've watched. You must have seen the movie Hidalgo
I don't think so.
with Viggo Mortensen. That's Aragorn, or Jake as we call him.
Hidalgo. No, I don't think I have seen it.
What? Jake, sorry, Tesh. You have to watch Hidalgo. Okay, it is fucking brilliant. It is such a good
Okay,
movie.
I'll put it on
And
the list.
Viggo Mortensen. I can't think of a movie that Viggo Mortensen was in where I didn't love his performance. That I've seen, I should say. I've seen. Like A History of Violence, amazing, genuinely scary movie. Like not like horror movie. Like you see the man in that movie. Granted, movies have changed from when that movie was made, right? Like movies ain't the same anymore. So that kind of like grotesque violence is pretty common now. You like watch Care Bears and people are cutting off fingers. You know what I mean? But like when that movie came out, it was uniquely frightening. You know. By the way, Hidalgo, great movie. Great movie.
Okay, I'll add it to the list.
Yeah.
Oh, but now that's fucking done.
Yeah.
Pack up my stuff and head back into the city.
Okay. I just want you to look down at the camera and say thanks, Joey.
Thanks, Joey. Thank you so much. And I'll obviously put the document back away in the boot and close it up. And reset, get everything together. I didn't get my 8 hours rest, I'm assuming.
Not yet. No. Nope.
Lovely. Did I heal? Oh no! If I don't get the 8 hours, I don't heal at all, do I? Nope,
Not
still on
only
10.
not only do you not heal, but you have to make me a con save or be fatigued at this point.
I do heal 1 because I had 1 non-lethal left.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
I'm assuming that goes away.
Yeah. Hours ago.
Okay, so
I just need a fortitude
fort
save to see whether or not you're fatigued at this point. You're not fatigued. A good halfway through the day, you will be, unless your character starts drinking caffeinated beverages to stave it off. So
I think I'm
How long
going
does
to
that last,
find
though,
somewhere
Scott?
to rest.
what?
How long does that last? Is it like an indefinite sort of period of like life where you don't get enough sleep, you survive off caffeinated beverages, kind of like drinking unicorn blood if you're Voldemort, you know, like it's a cursed half-life? I'm asking you because you're the one with experience.
Yeah. Life is fantastic. I'm happy all the time.
Get this boy some unicorn blood.
Well, Neil, I see a horn right there.
Oh my god. Not on twitch.tv, Scott, come on.
I know. It's only feet that.
Yeah, so sorry, I would go back into the city and back to where we're staying and give the debriefing if they're still there, like take them into the rooms and tell them what happened.
You were like enjoying a full fried breakfast. We've had a lovely night's rest. Oh, I haven't been shot by a lightning bolt in weeks or months. Oh, it's glorious.
So you go back to them. Viggo would have been like, I'm going to go head to the library to see if I can figure out anything else, because he intended to go back the next day anyways. Stay here and wait for him. Otherwise, you're going to have to figure something out. So that allows you to go and meet up with Tristan once you get back to the hotel, whereas Viggo won't be there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'd
You'd find Triss pacing in the room.
walk in. If the place is busy, I would send him a message saying.
Who would be
"Meeting
particularly
rooms."
busy?
I'll just nod up towards the room and say, "Let's talk."
Triss would turn around and pick you up. Oh, I thought. Well, once I saw that creepy dog, I thought you were.
Oh, you saw one of them too. Yeah, my God.
Didn't blink. Something wrong with it.
Didn't breathe.
But he put you down and like pat your shoulders and be like, "But you're okay. You are okay."
And I would put the hand on the shoulder and say, "I am now. It was close. Not close battle wise. Close. Well, I'll explain. Let's head up to the room." And of course, so we'll go up to the room. So I got good news and bad news. Good news is for now we're off the hook, or I'm off the hook. Bad news is I had to give up my mission and identity, but yours and are only to Paradol, not the AC, and directly to I keep getting the acronym. What is the acronym for the
LT?
No, W.
I'm a Master of War.
Master of War, and I'll explain the LT stuff later. But Master of War.
You met the Master of War?
No, it was LT, and I moved my notes off my screen. LT Petri Ciego, that was the in between. He was good. And I'll explain the whole zone of truth thing and how he actually stepped in with me. He was respectable. I didn't have to give up yours or either. I'll just say either of your names, or I did have to give up your ranks, but not your names. Just to make sure that I was on the level. Gave up the information on the sewers, but that one of them was in the red light district. It might help them with defending. I don't think the sewers is our best lead now anyway. Might help them with defending the coronation.
But what did you see? The buildings.
So now I get real fucking quiet. Like this is like I as quiet as I can. Be very careful. This is what the AC was willing to kill me over.
Don't tell me then.
Okay. I'll say, not anything we need to worry about. At least not yet.
They're being destroyed.
The buildings, yes.
Why the secrecy? It's bizarre.
He'll like sort of like. He doesn't want to say. He's like, you know, when you want to spill your guts, but you don't want to spill your guts. He's just like, they have reason. It may be a bit extreme on the protecting those secrets, but it was unique. But unfortunately, nothing to do with our investigation.
How much more information can our investigation turn up? That's the question.
Well, I think the biggest two leads we have are that brothel and the guard. Which, by the way, Scott, you never gave me his name, even though we said that I would have learned his name.
Which guard?
Oh no, was it name of the soldier that hit? Oh no, we did get a name.
Yeah.
It's Ellis Anton.
Yeah.
Yep, never mind. I would say Ellis Anton, the guard we need to find in question. I, however, need rest. Did you know that dog thing tracked me when I swam? And I'll say like how far I swam underwater up the river. That thing still found me. Upstream.
Not normal. I mean, I
No,
don't know
it's-
any bloodhound that's been able to track a prey through, I don't know,
They
a
said
few
it smelled
feet
the
of
magic
water.
on me as I show him a wound.
Smells magic. Interesting.
Yeah, I also feel like the AC. Well, they're not going to take too kindly to my face for a long while. That gnome was angry.
Powerful enemy to have.
Yes, but luckily it came straight from, and I need to write this fucking acronym down.
M-O-W.
MOW. Why? Master of War, of course. MOW.
It's funny how much of a
luckily,
struggle that is.
I know. I don't know why it is. It will not stick in my brain.
It's just funny.
MOW. Luckily the MOW cancelled the order to kill me. So at least he's seen fit to let me go about what I do.
Interesting.
The LT also said I may hear from the MOW, so I got to keep an eye out for that.
Phone call. Be right back.
Okay.
It's because
It's fine. I would have probably said like, now I need to rest anyway. Oh, both of you got interrupted. Perfect timing. Oh, my mic fell way the hell down. Does that sound better, guys? Thank you for the help, chat. Thank you, Joey. I am very thankful because holy fuck, I was screwed. I knew something was up when Scott made me take off my armor. Because he never talks about that when we're camping. He never talks about the taking off the armor. We don't know, Joey. We know that we'll know a couple days before, like 1 or 2 days before, but we don't know when it's actually happening. No one does. I think that's part of the whole attempt to give it a sort of secrecy. We have a general idea of in like the next week or so, but we don't know the exact day. But yeah, that's so. LT Petrisago is. I've got awesome dude in my notes next to him, so I Galen would very much respect him. And if only I'd be able to put the different stones into my armor the day before all this went down. It is unfortunate that the Dwayne is going to hear that I was discovered investigating this, but I guess, you know, we were allowed to disclose our mission if we had to, so I did. Secrecy was preferred, but not required, I think, if I remember right, which is good because that'll at least allow I have a contact to run things up the ladder for if we discover something real bad. Yeah, omitting the truth. Yeah, the wording is real fun. That's the hardest part of that. Is getting the wording for Zone of Truth. You're like, you want to get it right, but you want to make sure your character acts normally. But yeah, they're technically true. Like the fact that not everything else I couldn't really tell him about because it was to do with stuff I'm not allowed to talk about. So even if it is more, I was able to say it that way. Hello, Scott.
Sorry, Brittany was there. We were talking about the fact that, so I was just checking the outage map. Rory's school still doesn't have power, and I still don't know because people aren't getting there until a little bit later today. So they'll probably get there in the next 10 minutes or so, and they'll text me whether or not there's power.
Yeah.
But the outage map has 2 overlaps that are over that area, but it's a pretty commercial plaza, and usually those are wired different. Like Like they built different from the housing. So
I used to live on one that was connected to a commercial thing, so we like never went down. Compared to we'd have houses like next to us that would go down.
yeah. Well, when I lived in Maine, the plaza that I worked in, the restaurant I managed, was on the same power grid as the airport. So that was always good. I never lost power.
You were good.
Yeah, and my house, even though the whole neighborhoods around us would go out, my house was on a perfect street where it was on the same grid as a hospital. So once again, I think our house lost power once for like less than an hour or whatever it was for the entire time we lived up there, and all the ice storms and storms whatever that you would have, but like never an issue. So, which is nice.
Oh, sorry, I'm breathing in. I've turned on my aircon because it's a little warm here.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's getting warm for you. Always bugs me out.
It's annoying because like outside's cool, but this house, because it's been warm for a couple days, the house is just warm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was saying that that would likely be being the end of the conversation anyway.
And I honestly don't think there's anything else we could do without Jake. I kind of think that this is kind of be very like without Jake. You can't
that's
push it.
fair, honestly.
And I have sad news. Next week I have an important work thing, so I'm actually going to be at work next week at about probably 8:30 in the morning. So
at least I don't have to spend all week thinking I'm dying.
No.
Or 2 weeks rather, thinking I'm dying.
So without Jake, we can't really push on any further. And next week we can't play because I have a work thing early in the morning. So are you doing a Halloween thingy? I mean, not really. No.
No.
I mean, I know I should, but I never get into the gimmicky stuff. You know. Like I know last year they fought an undead baby.
What day is?
For the Halloween Friday set for Regicide sesh. This week we're not even doing a Regicide session. I'm still streaming on Friday, but they were like, "Oh, we need the night off." I was like, "Oh, you guys doing something important?" They're like, "Well, we're doing Halloween stuff." I'm like, "Halloween's on Sunday." They're like, "Yeah, well, we're gonna go to parties." I'm like, "Aren't you guys like adults now?" Like the youngest one is Messi. He's what, 24? 25. I'm like, I guess I could still see that one partying, but like Tyler's 30, Rita's like 28. I'm like, you guys still party for Halloween? I'm like, maybe I'm just a bit too boomer, but I'm like, I stopped partying for Halloween a long ass time ago. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like, you do you have fun. I just was surprised and they're like, hey, can we cancel the session so we could go to Halloween parties? I'm like, oh, all right. You do you.
Sorry, I just read what Joey said. I kind of like it. He's like, thanks to the FF, he can trump card with an AC assassination attempt at any point.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So anyways, yeah, but I mean, I'm still streaming Friday night. I haven't fully put together what I'm doing. I'll definitely be live during my normal time, because there's no reason not to be. So nice. I will be live either way. I'm trying to put something specific together, but I'm not. I
unfortunately will be at work.
Yeah,
so I can't watch it.
No, you're good, man. I'm going to try to put something specific together, but I have to coordinate with one person real quick. So, something specific. So we'll see what it is. But either way, all right. I'm going to. Oh yeah, I can do that right now, Joey. Actually, let me load up those websites right now. Patreon, and all right, load up those websites right now so I can get that done right now. All right.
Oh,
I'm back.
That's cool because we're about to finish. We can't do anything else without Jake.
That's true. Are you doing a Halloween thingy, Scott?
Not really. No. I'm trying to do something specific on Friday. I'll tell you what it is after the stream.
Scott's already done his Halloween thingy.
There they are. They're uploaded.
He sent me a picture.
Hey.
You know, like the really tiny little pumpkins? He's just carved one of those out hollow, and just out of the mouth, there's just... Well, I can't say what it is, obviously, on twitch.tv,
but... anyways. So, anything you guys want to say before we bounce out of here? Don't mind me. I'm literally going through the process of popping videos up.
Hopefully next week I will actually be starting the schedule I wanted to start, but then got gout. that kind of
gout.
put a dampener on things.
You're
So
such a
hopefully next week I'll be
middle-aged man.
starting.
You're really taking this D&D RP to like the
Yeah,
next level. You're like, I'm a man from the Middle Ages with gout. Too much red wine and meat.
Yeah.
I'll once again, I'm going to put Schism in for people who weren't here at the beginning, and just say that it's
Schism.
It's a tabletop RPG. It's made by some of our friends. Please just check it out if you can. If you could share it, that'd be fantastic in your communities. And if you decide that you want to back it, that's fantastic. But just sharing it would be amazing if you could.
Yeah, it's my dad's Christmas gift, so I'm definitely going to need you guys to make sure that gets fully funded so he can get a Christmas gift. Otherwise, Dad doesn't get one.
Oh no. Okay.
Anything you want to say, sir?
No, mostly just that I'm going to be starting up the schedule next week, hopefully. Arc is going to be getting its new map soon. I want to do a stream thing where people can help. I found a mod that allows stream chat to affect Arc, and I want to see if it works, because that'd be really awesome.
Kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it really does sound terrifying, and I kind of love it. So I'm gonna be messing with that over the next week to see if I can get it to work.
Oh,
yeah,
it's funny. My wife's funny. Sorry.
Cool.
I gotta agree with Viking there.
What's that?
Yeah, that's why I delayed it for
health.
A week.
Always comes first.
If I still, I mean, I should be better by then. But if I'm still having issues, I won't force myself to start the schedule early. I want to make sure I'm good to start it properly when I want to start it.
Yeah, I mean, be wise. Always focus on making sure that you're going to survive. I mean,
you too, Scott.
Listen, my wife and I, we talk about my tolerances. We talk about
I need
them.
you to live
says.
long enough that I can come to America.
I mean,
yes.
you could always come to America.
Yeah, but there's a time frame.
You need America to live. You need America to live long enough, and that one's a question.
Okay, mark. Yeah, that's fair. that one's up in the air.
Oh, Jesus. As we're talking right now, I'm literally posting videos, so don't mind me. While you guys are chatting, I'm just like, let me just do this right now.
Yeah, this is one of the rare times where you have like half an hour sort
we don't have to rush off.
Free-ish.
But I'm gonna go and hang out with Brittany for a quick second. She actually literally the reason why she came down here was because there's a chest next to me. Hold on, let me show you. She had stepped away because now she's going to go make me breakfast because I married a goddamn goddess. Let me show you what I'm doing. So next to me, there is
camera change.
Yeah, where is it? There you are. So yay! So next to me, there's this chest over here, that usually is brown. You can actually see the brown right around the hardware. There's still a little brown on it. And she just started, you can see this one coat on there. She painted it black to give it this, to make it look really cool. And it's hard to tell right now because obviously the camera doesn't do it justice as it does in person, right? It looks a lot brighter than it really is. Anyways, that old brass or whatever it is, hardware with like the color of black or whatever she put on there, it's actually a really cool,
does look nice.
Contrast. And it's this really cool look. And this old radio.
I was about to say, I love the old radio.
Yeah, she bought that in an antique store while we were on vacation, and she's going to rip out the guts and put into it a Bluetooth, modern speaker.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it has this like
really cool.
this boomer look to it, but it's actually she's like, well, it's just like you. You're a boomer on the outside, but like, oh, thanks. So it's pretty fun.
Fantastic.
But I don't know if you can see inside there. You can only go so far with this damn thing on its wire, but there's scotch in there.
Yeah, you can see.
There's scotch inside there. Should be some other really cool bits and bobs that are in there, but again, you'll have to see them after I actually walk around the room with it. Hanging up the curtains was hilarious because we realized we screwed something up and I had to fix it. But I'm
There
actually
aren't actual windows behind there, are
No,
there? It's
there's
just,
like vents.
technically speaking, there are windows. They're just it's a basement, and I haven't finished making the windows. So
Oh.
yeah, so I'll show you real quick. Hold on.
I guess it's like one of those things where the basement goes up a little bit above ground level. Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Okay, I see.
So it's those basement windows where like that's where the ground is, right? There's mostly dirt there,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's insulation stuffed into the glass pane. So if I took that away, you'd see lights coming in, right? But eventually, I'm actually gonna remove those and build proper windows right there, so it's done properly. The only reason why I haven't done it yet is because I'm trying to decide if I want to put heat down here at all or not. Do you know what like those two-way things are? Those the ones where it can be either air conditioner or heat. I forget what they're called.
Oh,
It's like a big square fan that sits outside the house and has tubes that come into the house, and it can either be heat
yeah,
or
that's
AC.
That's actually air conditioning.
That's just an aircon, yeah.
To be clear.
Yeah, that's modern day, but everybody gets for it. We usually use in-window air conditioners. You know what I mean? Unless you install that,
yeah.
because that's not cheap to
Yeah.
install.
No.
Like
It's literally it's just aircon there.
now.
Yeah.
It's just a different
because-
installation.
So if I do that, I wouldn't do it just for the office. I would do it for the whole basement because I'm eventually going to room by room finish the basement. Right? Think about it, I've only had this house for 2 years, and I'm still working on room. What we did a billion other projects, but this is the first room I built. I eventually do all the other ones. So when I do it, I'm going to get a piece of equipment that can handle the whole basement, not just this one room. So that piece of equipment, I've looked into it. The price for it's anywhere between like $2,500 to $3,000 plus installation. Now, luckily for me, I have a friend whose dad owns his own HVAC company, and he himself worked for his dad for a long time and is now an engineer. His son works for a different HVAC company. I'm friends with the whole family. My daughter goes dancing with their kids all the time and whatnot. So he's already said that they'll sell it to me closer to cost through the dad's company. So I won't be paying full price for that. And then they'll help me do the installation. So I won't have to pay for installation. Will cost beer and pizza or whatever the hell it is, beer and sushi, whatever. So anyways, and I won't have to pay full price for it. So it'll probably still end up costing a lot, which is why I'm like, that's not happening right now, but it will eventually happen. You know what I mean?
And then it'll be nice when you're down there, you're playing D&D, and you can hear the rain pattering on the windows that you've built.
I won't lie. The jokes aside, the windows I want to get that go outside there, it has to be a special type of glass to do it, but I want them to be slanted. It has to be a special glass because it's at ground level, so you don't want it to break or anything, but have a bit of a slant to it, so you can actually collect more light inwards. Yeah.
That is cool, yeah.
Yeah, but again, so something like that though, I'll buy the windows at like a hardware place, and my dad will help me install those. So again, I don't have to pay an installation fee. It'd be me and my dad doing it, so. But for now, finishing up the room. So we have like another tiny little projects left, and then the next thing is the goddamn door. I have to build the rest of the wall right there, build the door frame, build the actual door, which all the hardware for that's already in my garage, stain the door, get it all set, and then actually hang my door.
Doors are apparently quite difficult because you have to be very selective with your decision of how the grain is and how you're making the door in orientation to the grain, because the door will expand and shrink throughout the months.
Oh no! So you're actually thinking about a door. I'm actually doing barn style.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But I still have to build it. Right now, I just have the planks. I still have to follow instructions. So, luckily, I'll do the hardware part. Brittany usually, like I stains this thing, but Brittany usually does the staining of stuff. So she takes care of most painting and staining, so I don't have to deal with that. And then I'll have to hang it and whatnot. So
you're already enough of a stain.
Thank you. I won't lie, the part that I'm least looking forward to is building I don't mind doing the molding. That'll be easy. I'm thinking about getting crown molding. I'm not sure yet. The part that I'm least looking forward to is building the door frame. Building the walls was easy. Because you're using huge slabs and putting them up there, but building the door frame, it's like I have to more or less build a finite little area. So it's like I have to set in more 2x4s or 2x3s, whatever I want to use, drilled into the ground, out just a little bit more, as well as the vertical ones, and drill them in all the different areas, and then cut out tiny little cuts of drywall to put right there. Ugh. Like, it's so much work. Then I have to plaster it all together, then resand and paint it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Oh, well. Oh, well. Okay, here we go. What were we doing?
We were closing the stream so that you could enjoy a bit of freedom.
Freedom.
What is freedom?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. All right. So yeah, let me get out of here so I can go jump in the shower. I'll catch you guys. I'll catch you guys on Friday night. Tonight on Lost Initiative, 9 p.m. EST. Tomorrow night on Doxy's channel, I think it's 9 p.m. EST, twitch.tv/ZER0DOXY, and Friday night back here at 9 p.m. EST. So catch you guys later. Boy. Is there anybody I can raid or no?
So I don't have anyone you can raid. If you don't have anyone, there's actually Warframe's doing a quest to conquer cancer stream.
Oh, wait, who's that? Back?
Warframe, as in like the official Warframe channel.
Yep, got it right now. Let's do that because it's for cancer. Cool.
Yeah, I figured if there's no one else, it'd be a good one to send people to.
Because I just have Geef going, which is fine. So, guys, do you want to know what I'm trying to do on Friday night?
What are you trying to do?
So I'm trying to get a hold of